Hope everyone is having a great day. Um, just making sure that everything is kind of like going along right now. Yep, it is. So, welcome to Lunchtime Spaces, ladies and gentlemen. Gotta accept the request. For those of you who are not familiar, we do this every so often. If you're not already, make sure you become a member of our playback channel where we can kind of interact. You can request to get on stage. It's an interactive conversation. We encourage people to request to get on stage. We'd love to hear from you. Speaking of which, Ant, you've become a regular in these playbacks, and you starting to like be the first one up here. How are you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good, man. Why is it that you start at like 1 though? It'd be a little easier for me to talk longer if it was a little bit earlier.
You mean like why do I start at like 1:30, 2 o'clock?
Yeah, like I feel like most people are like ending lunch around that time. I think I always thought maybe we could get like more people if it was closer to noon. What do you think?
Yeah, I probably would agree. It's because I like actually working in the morning time. Like, so like
Uh-huh.
I work from the crib. I could do it at 12, but at 12 I'm usually like still like pretty engaged in my job. So
It's all right.
I
Your boss is
don't
not listening. You don't gotta lie. It's all
I
good.
don't have I don't have a boss, bro. I'm an independent contractor to be honest with you. But it's just like my job is like pretty time consuming, not time consuming, but like I don't know. When I'm locked into it, I have to be locked in, and I can't be as engaging. So around 2 o'clock is usually when I wrap up the strenuous part of my workday, and that's why I just decided to do this.
All right, well, it sounds
Also,
like you don't have your priorities straight, but I get it.
it's cool. Like either way, doing it on playback make me money. That make me money. It's all gravy. So, also joining us on stage, we got my boy Chow Su and Vince. How you fellas doing today? Start with Chow Su. Chow Su, how you doing today, brother?
You know, unlike the Heat's defense and offense, I'm breathing. I'm alive. So
Vince, how you doing today, bro?
Every day is just like the day before, and it will be the day after. Time is a flat circle.
Accept reality.
He likes his
But
money. I need to update this photo.
right to Mickey, he like his money, accept reality. I like that. So, all right, Miami's lost 5 straight games, which is funny in and of itself. But one of the things that I found interesting about like the game from last night was how much like flack Jimmy Butler started to catch, bro. Like it's starting to get strange, I guess, because everybody's kind of catching on to it. I don't know if strange is the right word, but like I didn't expect Jimmy Butler to catch so much hell like any until the playoffs. And why is everybody starting to like get on Jimmy's case about the way that he's playing? Oh, you can't talk right now? All right, that's fine. Why are you up here? If you can't talk. Uh, but yeah, like go ahead. We'll start with Chelsea. Chelsea, why is everybody getting on Jimmy Butler's case all randomly all of a sudden?
I think because now it's getting to a point where it's too glaring for people to just ignore. Usually, even if Jimmy's coasting, it's like, you know what, he had 25, so I can just live with the fact that he had 25. I'll just turn my attention to somewhere else. But now, like, we're talking about like how the offense has gone. Like since Jimmy came back, bro, we've been over 100 points twice. That was against the Hawks and this game. It it should be that like when we're talking about like Tyler Hero's ruining the offense, it should be like we're still scoring well enough, and then Tyler takes a bad shot like within the rim. We're not even getting to 95 points. Jimmy's not even shooting over 10 shots. And on top of it, it's not even like he's playing defense either. I think that's really why people are starting to. The offense isn't there, but neither is the defense. So he's getting cooked on the other end. He's not contributing to this end. So now people are just starting to slowly realize, like, reality's setting in. There's only so much you can say, well, he'll be fine in the playoffs until you start really looking at it and be like, is he cooked? Is it like, is this it? Is the Cinderella dust over? And people's reality is setting in. Bam is Bam right now is also in a bad portion, so he's not offsetting any of the Jimmy stuff. There's no more like there's no painting putting makeup on the pig anymore. You're just looking at the pig.
That
Hmm?
no, I mean, I was gonna say I agree a lot with what Travis was saying. Um, it's also hard to keep up the whole he's just coasting through the regular season thing for 4 straight years and just people to just not be over it. I think it's a big thing. Um, I think it's also because like the first month was just such a terrible taste in our mouth. He didn't pause. He he didn't uh he didn't show up literally at all in the preseason. And then in the first few games, he just was putting up terrible performances, and we just kind of excused it for not showing up in the preseason. It's just like those aren't really valid excuses for what he was doing. It's just like I don't know if he was like protesting against what the front office's lack of motion in the offseason or something, but like it was just bad. And it's crazy because you look at the stats, he's still shooting 61% true shooting. He's shooting 48% from the field. He's having a career 3-point shooting season at 41%. And it just doesn't matter because it feels like he's not impacting the game the same way he normally does. And you can see it clearly on the defensive side, which doesn't show up on the stats that well. But his defensive impact is not there. And that's what's negatively affecting us a lot. But
Yeah.
there's just a lot of issues right
We were talking
now.
about Jimmy
And
trade value a little bit. We were talking about Jimmy trade value a little bit last night, and we were saying how like the reason his trade value is diminishing is because the defense is going first.
yeah, it's crazy.
But go ahead and finish your point. I'm sorry to have to cut you off.
No, I was just gonna say like the one thing that we could always rely on and anchor on was just like the combination of Jimmy and Bam defense was good enough to always carry us to be a top 10 defense. And now Jimmy's not even doing that much. And so after months of blaming Tyler and months of blaming these role players and months of blaming Kyle Lowry, eventually it's gonna get to Jimmy. So yeah, that's how I see it.
Oh, excuse me. I think it get into Jimmy like, but that's what I'm saying though. Like I felt like it wouldn't have got to Jimmy. Somebody just requested and I missed him. Request again, and I'll let you up. But I feel like it got to Jimmy like way faster than it normally does. LJ, why is the slander now touching Jimmy? I thought everybody was cool with waiting until the playoffs.
It's more because it's reaching a boiling point of like you tell yourself, all right, it's fine because he's going to turn it on in the playoffs, but it's like how realistic or fair is it from the organization and the fan base to say, let's let this 35-year-old with Tom Thibodeau, minutes on his body carry us like Michael Jeffrey Jordan when the playoffs start? That's not fair. That's not realistic. So it's like, is he burnt out? Probably. I definitely think the end is way closer than people want to admit. I've said it a couple times in the playback and on the podcast too. I think it might be okay to expect Jimmy to be, otherworldly one more time in the playoffs, and that's probably this year. After that, it's going to be gone. And you've already seen it. You said it too. His defense is the first thing that's going now. He's a liability, and you can't have Jimmy be a liability when Tyler, who also I won't get into it right now, but Tyler is not the sole reason this team is where they are right now. Bam's taking really stupid shots. Jimmy is playing no defense. Tyler is being Tyler, but again, they're asking him to do things. They're putting him in really bad positions, and he's just a shot chucker. But Tyler has become unplayable on defense. We thought he would reach a level where he could be masked, right? Maybe like the way that Brad Stevens used to hide Isaiah Thomas, or the way that Spo early on was hiding Duncan before Duncan became serviceable at least, or hideable, I should say. Tyler's not even hideable on defense right now. He's getting hunted by a man whose mom sleeps around with underage children. Like that, you cannot have that happen as Tyler Hero. You have defensive incentives in your contract, and you are unplayable in situations against G League talent. You can't have that. When he was getting cooked by Maxey, at least we were like, all right, Maxey's quick as a bolt, man. Like, not many players in the league can stay with Maxey. It is what it is. But Tyler is just, you can't play him on defense. He's the offense bogs down when he's there on offense. Terry Rozier doesn't know what the hell to do. The team is in a very, very uneasy state. And I guess if you want to be optimistic and be like glass half full, it's happening at a good time. If you really want to call a spade, it's like, well, the trade deadline's coming up. They're seeing that there are some very unfixable problems with marginal moves. I don't think they're going to make a larger than marginal move at the deadline because I don't think there's a move there. But they're at a crossroads right now where the big three got 4 years before it got stale and they blew it up. Even though that was the player's choice, it's not exactly the organization's choice. This team now, if you don't blow it up after this year, why does this core get 6 years with no results? Why would that be okay from an organizational standpoint? So you're really, really looking at barely getting anything else out of this group. It's run its course is what it feels like. I don't know how. There are a couple ways that you could fix it, but there's going to be stands from both sides. They're going to hate either or option. But so there's going to be questions that need to be answered this offseason. I don't know if that's saved by another deep playoff run, because how many more times, like I started my whole soliloquy, how fair is it to put all of your hopes and dreams on a 35-year-old? I don't think it's going to work.
On the podcast, what podcast would that be? If I may.
I'm super glad that you asked that. It's the Random Scrub Heat podcast presented by The Basement. I chat on there. I host it with Hot Take Harrison, as some of you guys know. The Thunder from Down Under, if you don't know, that's George, our Britain native. And then Alex Sheltman hops on from time to time when Maserati's not, hanging himself with a noose by the Dolphins. Maserati will hop on there. Royal's been on there once too. We'll have to get some more Kangs on the podcast now shortly, because it's getting rough in these waters of the team of the Miami Heat. So we might need some fresh blood on the pod, I think. But you can download it on Spotify, on Apple, wherever you get your podcast. It is going to be available for you.
Nardo is accusing me of stealing his floor in the comments. I know not of what he speaks of. Actually, I wish I could go up there. Let me see if I can delete his comment. I can, actually. So I deleted his comment anyway. So
I got a Ku Klux Klan member in the chat. Let me block this Ku Klux Klan member.
Come on, brother. Let me get him up out of here. I really feel bad about going straight to you after we mentioned the Ku Klux Klan, Dolphin, but you're my guy. We all know your heart. Dolphin, I want to talk to you about why Jimmy Butler is being I want to talk to you about why Jimmy Butler is being pushed to the forefront in terms of like the slander all of a sudden, when people, were willing to wait on the playoffs early in the year. Why do you believe that is?
In regards to the Ku Klux Klan comment, I'm still waiting on the 23andMe. All kidding aside, at the same time, why is there frustration? I think LJ said a lot of it, so I might be a bit repetitive and duplicitous with the things I end up saying here. I think fans are just tired of it. I think at a certain point, there reaches kind of an apex with regards to the trust Jimmy and everything like that. And people see it with their own two eyes. Like, I smell cooked product, and the lazy shit that just is not going to fly anymore. And at the same time as well, too, you spent 5 years with this build with no trophies to show for it. That develops less grace for the fan base to a lesser extent. Only balanced by people being like, just wait for playoff Jimmy, everything of that nature. The problem with that is, again, LJ said it, you just can't account for people just get frustrated. If you compare it to a regular old office job, some people don't work at their own fucking office job for 4-5 years. Imagine seeing the same faces every single day for 4 to 5 fucking years. You can love them, but it's like you reach a certain point, you're like, I'm getting tired of this. And in a results-oriented business like the NBA, when you don't have the true result to show for it of a championship, it gets very annoying. I mean, to put it in perspective, I think it was either LeBron or Wade who said it. They were like, by year 4, we just were fucking sick of each other. And that was a team that had won multiple championships and ruled the NBA world. The Warriors, the Durant Warriors, they were getting fucking sick of each other as well, too. To a certain extent, I think it was just Durant kind of isolating himself. They just got sick of each other. These things have cycles, and it's usually within the 4 to 5, not even the 5-year mark. Around the 4-year mark is when things start to come to a head. So I think the frustration starts to kick in, not just for the fans, but maybe if you're honest with the players as well too. And it's like, bro, it's been us for the last 5 years. We've gotten close to the mountaintop, but we haven't reached it yet. And the sad thing about it is like we know, or it's like we are so fucking close. But now the problem is like you watch around the league and you watch in the East. You can point the finger at Jimmy, you can point the finger at Tyler, you can point the finger at whoever you'd like, but flat out and out, they just like watching them play against the Celtics, they just don't have enough. Like they really don't. Like it is what it is. Maybe it ends up being a situation in the playoffs where the Celtics just stupid themselves out of beating the Heat. They just don't have it. Like they really just don't have the talent to keep up. Like when you take a look at somebody like Porzingis, like when Bam's out of the game or if they're going on a fucking pick and roll or a switch or something of that nature, you're asking yourself, why is Highsmith or Highsmith guarding KP on a fucking switch? And it's like, bro, that's all they have. They don't have another big. Do you want it to be Thomas Bryant guarding KP? Do you want it to be Orlando Robinson guarding Porzingis? Like they just simply don't have enough. They're getting out talented, and that's exactly why Jimmy pounded the table as hard as he did in his own way for Dame, because he knew in his heart of hearts they don't have it. And I think that frustration is just starting to boil over for the fans, the players, and maybe the coaching staff as well too, probably.
Yeah, I agree that what's been like accumulating for the past couple of years is starting to boil over. And one of the biggest reasons for that is because now it's like games that, like the Celtics, let's take the Celtics game from last night, for instance. Throughout the course of this build, no matter like what we fielded, we had a team that at least looked competitive against some of the upper echelon teams in the league. Like right now, you're not getting that. You're getting your teeth kicked in. And it's like you're used to going up with lesser talent. But you're used to Jimmy showing up and just kind of trying to even the odds. Like at least be the first or second best player on the court. And at this point, he's not being that in any situation, let alone in these high leverage situations. So that's kind of like that's another illuminating part. So I get that perspective. But just the bless, my guy. Um, Tell me why you feel it is that Jimmy's starting to get a little bit more criticism as opposed to like the patience that he got from year to year in terms of like waiting until we get to the.
Because all you niggas, yeah, I just need someone to hate. I need someone to blame, and rightfully so. Like, yeah, I think he deserves it. I feel like for most other teams, when you look at the who's getting paid the most money, it's usually the stars who get blamed, right? That's You're not supposed to blame the guy who's being scapegoated, right? Like at a certain point, you understand who they are, and we just had to accept these players for who they are. But that's what we should be doing, which is why I don't really care about what Jimmy's doing. But is it a little bit interesting per se? And are we a little bit disappointed? Yes. The main reason why everybody's talking, and whether y'all want to admit it or not, is because we're in a 5-game losing streak. Like, and I know people love to say 500 since Tyler Hero, whatever the case is, but the truth is, if y'all look at who came back just before that 5-game losing streak, I'm not trying to slander Jimmy or anything, but the same way I was looking at Tyler, oh, Duncan was doing this when Tyler was out. Well, Miami was okay when Jimmy was out, and now we're watching, he's back, and they're losing. Now, if you ask me, do I think what we're seeing right now is a representation of what the team as a collective is? Absolutely not. I think they are a lot, but they're not losing to a G League Grizzlies bad. They're not losing to a Toronto Raptors without Pascal Siakam back. Right now we're going through a bad stretch, but I feel like eventually we'll figure it out and order will meet its level. But the overall sense is, like I said, right when the trade, I'm lukewarm. Like it doesn't make a huge difference. We're definitely gonna need that one more bit. I said it. We dealt with one problem. We semi dealt with one problem, that stopgap with somebody who gets to the rim. The second major problem that I told y'all and we faced in the finals and that we seen last night was that we don't have that second big, somebody else who could play next to Bam, big enough, long enough, pause to guard these other guys, and and then that's really it. The reason why Jimmy's getting more blame is because we're on a 5-game losing streak, and he is the main factor. He's the since the loser. I think since he been back what 6 games now or 7 games. We're 2 of 5 or 1 of 6. So that's the reality.
You say you need somebody to blame is not correct. What you about to say, Doctor?
No, and I'll make it brief on this. I'll be curious to see, because it's very easy. One of the things that I've noticed, and some Heat fans are holding on to this relative copium about Jaime Jaquez being the connector of sorts. I'm curious to see what'll happen tomorrow, or these next few games after, right? Because with Jaime being healthy, and I think being able to play tomorrow against New York, if they go on another bad stretch of this again, what's the excuse left, dude? Everyone, for the most part, is as healthy as they can be in a fucking 82-game season.
There is none.
They will find one.
I mean,
No, because it's
they'll say Rozier. We still need time to adjust Rozier. There's always something convenient.
no. It's literally what I'm seeing is people are finally. It's like when people are starting to see their own mortality. You're seeing the end. So all the justifications in your mind, all the excuses in your mind, the bench hero thing, you're watching the games, and it may make it better, but you're starting to see this don't solve anything, because we waited way too long to start fixing problems, and now you look at that Boston team and you're like, oh, it don't matter who we get. They have a 7'3" dude who is shooting threes from 30 foot, who can easily break our zone by just standing in the middle of it and causing a mismatch for everything. Oh, and Embiid scoring 70. Oh, the Knicks look actually serious for once. You're starting to look in the mirror and you're like, we can't beat these guys. So now it's Jimmy has to be the superhero, because that's the only thing that can fix it. Jimmy has to just go out there and score 35 during the regular season. And now they're looking at Jimmy and they're realizing, hey, the Cinderella dust ain't there no more. So now everybody's in panic mode. That's why I called it the 2018 Cavs. Because what they did were like, oh, this is done. But we're going to go into the trade deadline and just, hey, everybody go, last-ditch effort, shift everything in. When they know what the end result's going to be, we're just trying to not to face it. The build is done. After last year, if you didn't get Dame, it was over. It was time to move on. But no one wants to accept moving on from Jimmy, which is the hardest thing to do. So everybody's just stuck in this thing where they're like, well, I hope he gets better. I hope Bam turns into I saw someone call Bam yesterday a superstar. The fuck he ain't. I know what real superstars look like. When people are like fit versus talent. In 2005, we traded Eddie Jones, and then we paired blah blah with Shaq and Dwayne Wade. Those are different levels of people. And the year before, Eddie Jones wasn't the problem. Dwayne Wade's shoulder popped out his socket, and they lost in Game 7 of the ECF. People need to accept these dudes ain't good enough. It is what it is. And now people are looking at Jimmy and they realize that he ain't good enough, and now they want to act surprised. So,
but I think you bring up something very interesting about kind of like us watching a wounded animal be put down. That's what this season is starting to feel like. And it feels like it was preventable, though. I feel like we could have ended this a lot simpler or a lot cleaner than it looked like it's headed towards. Because I said it last night. I feel like all of our once very valuable trade pieces are now losing value, and so the return on them is going to be diminished no matter what we do. So, you're looking at a team now that needs to be blown up.
They're losing value if you want to win a championship. But if you want to build, actually, accept reality, as they want to say, and build something, you can go trade Tyler to somewhere for 2 first-round picks and a player, because there's someone who was willing to do that. You can go get a first-round pick for Duncan. You can get multiple for Jimmy. But they don't want to just – they never want to say they lost. They never want to actually rebuild. They want to pretend. And that's what the Heat are the best at, pretending that they're still a contender.
That's what I'm saying, Chelsea. Like they had an opportunity to like turn Tyler Hero into a player that could have helped Jimmy compete with this.
Look,
Like, hold on, let Dolphin go first, and then you can go, Jess.
And I think Chaosu, I've kind of wrestled this because I know Chaosu has kind of made the point on a lot of different spaces where it's like, it's not just trading Tyler, by the way. You probably need to trade Tyler and Jimmy. Like, and I'm starting to come around to the notion because the more I think about it, it's like, there is no road that leads well here. Like, I think he's eligible for an extension, if not a year or two from now. I absolutely would not give a 36, 37-year-old Jimmy Butler an extension for what? Absolutely fucking not. Like, simply by virtue of mathematics. And a lot of people, I think it's just, so much emotions attached to it. I know certain people in our chats like, oh, it's not age. I'm like, guys, like, he's a 35-year-old. Like, not everybody ages like LeBron. Like, some people, it looks rough at the end. It looks more like Paul Pierce than it does LeBron once you hit fucking 35. So
And it happens quickly, bro.
yeah, and the additional thing about it is too, like, I don't think I've ever really truly, like, outside of the 2007-2008 season, I've never seen this team truly bottom out. Like, even when they drafted Bam in the 2017 draft, that season where they went 11-30 and 30-11, if they had continued on the trajectory they were on, they could have selected a guy like a Tatum or something like that, but that's neither here nor there. And then they got saved from this crazy mediocre build of the Dion Waiters, Hassan Whiteside era with the godsend of getting Jimmy Butler on. So they've never truly had to bottom out like that. And I think that's the only, like, trading Jimmy for whatever first rounds, like Chausu said, that you can get, trading Tyler for whatever you can get. Like, quite frankly, I'm of the belief that the only person that is not movable is Bam, and to a lesser extent Jaime. But even still, if you can get something for him, I mean, that has to be considered.
Offering you Dame for Tyler, Jovic, Jaime, like, would you take it? And a lot of people like no because they don't want to give up Jaime. But it's like, brother, like this team needs a pivot in a major way. You get Donovan and Bam, and you start the fuck over from there. Jimmy Garcia in the YouTube chat, he said, name a player that can coast through the regular season that can get away with it. You can't. Jimmy doesn't even have a ring to back him up. I agree with you, bro. Like I think that's part of the problem too. Like there are scenarios throughout the course of the regular season where Jimmy coasting is causing us games. Somebody said Laurie Marketing is the move. I don't know if that's the move, but
No,
I don't know
There's
if that's
no way they make a move that big.
what to
He's
learn.
not that level of player.
no.
But LJ, to be honest with you, bro, like I'm kind of confused as to whether or not that is where they're heading towards. Because this losing streak it could be defining, bro. I feel like they're headed towards a situation where they're going to have to make something more than a tertiary move. And I think the pressure for the front office to do that is building.
I agree 100%, and I agree that's where it should be headed, because let's all be realistic. This losing streak is very, very likely to hit 8 games. Like, that's not out of the realm of possibility, nor unfeasible. Like, they very easily could go on an 8-game skid, and maybe that would jolt the arm of the front office to be like, let's make a bigger move. And I agree, a bigger move is what needs to happen, because a finite minutia move is not going to fix what's wrong with this team. I just don't know if the front office knows or wants to acknowledge that.
But that
I
would
don't
go
know if
into
the
what
fan.
Harry's
Sorry, I
Harry
don't know if
That's
the fan base
okay.
knows.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
the fan
say
base
that.
knows for sure, but I don't know
but
if the
here's
front
the thing.
office shares that.
I'm of the belief there's nobody on this roster that shouldn't be on the trade block because
Hold on,
I don't
Chelsea.
believe it. Sorry, yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, let Jess go, and then I'm going to come back to you. Go ahead, Jess.
Fan, I'm on the same belief as y'all. Like, hey, something big needs to happen, but what I actually think is gonna happen, I don't think they're gonna do anything. I think they're gonna, if they do something, it's gonna be like a smaller, maybe significant, maybe get a little role player back. But Miami just hit its can just now with the Terry Rozier thing. I think they're gonna bank on Eric Spoelstra figuring it out. Like once again, like I get it, we're in this losing streak or whatnot, but I know the ideal thing. Yo, Tyler, go. Yeah, Jaime in the first, and you go get that star, but that star ain't available right now. Like we're probably gonna have to dug it out for the rest of the season, go into the playoffs, wish for a just the same way. Yeah, I remember how we were right before when the season ended last year, where we was like, ah, fuck, we should lose this play, and then we ended up winning, and then we ended up going back. But that's gonna be the same. I feel aura around the team. We don't have enough. We don't do it, and then we're gonna hope to make that playoff run again. If not, then it's gonna be that this is the last straw, and then it's gonna happen over the summer, where when we're gonna have the 2024 pick to trade, right? We're gonna have the at draft night, we're gonna have 2029 pick to trade and the 2031 pick to trade, and we're gonna have Jaime there, and we're gonna have Tyler, and then I think that's when they're gonna make that last home run move if possible. But
That
in
don't feel that don't feel like much more of the same, though, bro. Like what we've been doing.
what you mean in terms
I
of
mean,
like
like in terms of like waiting for a superstar to take a swing at it. Like
no,
at
but
this point, I feel like that shit's over with, bro. We should not be taking swings for any kind of players that like I don't know. I don't think we should be waiting around,
so
bro. Just
you think that he
rip
should
the
blow it
band-aid.
up?
Rip, yeah. I thought they
That's
should have
not
blew it up
happening.
after the goddamn after the last year. I thought they should have blew it up in the summer.
Yeah, I think after we didn't get Dame, we should have definitely considered blowing it
Yeah.
up. But in terms of what Miami is gonna do, they're not. They're this build is gonna end when Jimmy's contract is done. Jimmy isn't
That's
getting traded as
2
much as
years,
he
bro.
should. He will not get traded,
That's in 2 years, bro.
and we're
Yep.
gonna we're gonna fight for the next 2 years. We're gonna watch this
Bro,
struggling Knicks unless
the
something
things
happens.
that we're going to have to do to build a competitive roster around Jimmy Butler for the next 2 years will haunt this franchise for years to come after that.
We're already going through that. I'm sorry. This is supposed to be Chelsea's, so I'll let him go.
Yeah, but this franchise has been destroyed by their results. They're making decisions based on what happened and not like the logical outcome. The 21-22 season, listen, Bam and Jimmy missed 30 games. Omer Yurtseven was playing mid. We had a stretch where Max Strus in a 10-game span was averaging 20. That's not something that happens. You like legit that's the one where you're like, hey, good job, we got lucky. Going to the playoffs, we faced the Hawks. We're never real. And then what? We faced the Sixers without Joel Embiid. That wasn't real. We won 6 games with them. Then we won 7 games with Boston. Next year, Giannis gets injured. Take advantage of good. You play the Knicks. You already knew the Knicks were. We thought we were going to lose in the first round, and then you play the Celtics. You go up 3, you go down 3, and then you win a game 7, and then you get destroyed by them. These things, it could have just been the Heat. Like, I don't like to say the word fluke. I don't think it's a fluke. I just think it's something that was not something that was not the quality of the team. You ended up in the finals. Your team was not a finals team. You ended up in game 7 of the ECF. That was not a game 7 ECF team. Like, this team just wasn't actually as good as they thought. And the other teams are starting to get off their bullshit. And now I'm looking around, I'm like, these players aren't who we think they are. They're not players we need to be saying they need to stick on the roster. They're not the talent we were used to. We had Dwayne Wades. We had Shaqs. We used to know what talent was. Now we're looking around and everybody's too scared to move into 2024 basketball. Like, we're still talking about, like, I love Bam, but if there's just a certain things that he can't do. Like, he's supposed to be a glue guy in this era. He's supposed to be averaging 15 and 10 and anchoring a defense and being that DPOY player. Wow. And then he's supposed to have someone who's like as talented as Embiid, who's can just get you 35 and 12, and Bam's just a quiet third guy. But instead, like, we're still talking about let's build around Bam. It's like we can't be doing that in 2024. We need elite offensive talent. We need multi-versatile players. And we're stuck on making Duncan Robinson untouchable. Like, this team is stuck in 2016 and like jerking themselves off on their past success. It's crazy to me, like that we're still doing this. Jimmy Butler's not good enough. He was never a number one. New was right. He was never a number one. That dude's a number 2. That's where he should have been. And then we got caught up in all the hype, and now we're stuck holding a
Is
$55 million bag.
is he still a number 2, Chelsea?
No, yeah, he's a
Yeah,
number
he's
3
still
at this
number
point. No, he's a number 3, number 4 because
Bro,
of the way you're playing. He takes 2 threes a game, bro. And that's the thing. Like, people talk about his efficiency. It's like that's great. If you gain like 26 points, he's shooting 10 times a game. He's averaging like 17 right now. Like, over the season, it's 20. He's averaging 17.
He's
It
averaging
don't even
22 for
impact
the
the game.
season.
I think it's
talking
20.9.
about he's talking about like
But it's like,
7 in the course of the past 10 games.
Yeah, 21.
yeah, but it's like he's not even impacting the game no more. It's like
Yeah,
you're just
recently,
watching. Yeah, you're just watching the dude die out there on the court. Like, legit, like, people are talking about his extension. I think he's going to retire when this contract is done. I don't think he's playing
I
after this.
agree.
Yeah. That we gave him was his last contract. Because I'm like, I always thought, like, when I was watching him play, I'm like, bro, this game is never gonna age well. And we'd be lucky to see him even finish his own this contract. So I was surprised at the years we gave him. But I think we're hitting all the mileage from we say Thibodeau miles, but Spo's giving him miles too, to some extent. And it's also these long playoff runs that we go through season in and season out. We saw how it was giving Dwayne Wade the wear and tear. It's doing the same thing to Jimmy. So part of it is he's conservative, but part of it is also aging too. And he's collecting injuries more frequently, more often in the season. So he's just not impacting the game at all. It looks like he's lost a step defensively, and I think he's trying, and it's just not there. And so he's not having the same impact. It's crazy to see, but it's like Chelsea said, man, we're seeing the end, we're seeing the mortality of this team finally. And so people are just warming up to the idea of like, man, we had a good run, but it's kind of over.
The team knows it too.
Yeah.
That 2 timeline bullshit. That's what a
Pat
team
Riley
does
yesterday?
when they think their star can't make it to the end. The 2 timeline, they don't want to give up Hero because they're like, if we go all in on Jimmy, and they're looking at Jimmy and they're like, oh, he may be done. So they're trying to they know it. They don't want to say it, but they know they should trade Jimmy, but they don't want to be seen as the organization that screws over their stars like the Boston Celtics. So they're going to let Jimmy do whatever he wants, ride out his contract, no matter how bad it is, because that Dwayne Wade thing happened, and the worst thing that happened to this organization was when Dwayne Wade left, because they actually they were moving like a good organization. They chose the wrong player. They chose Hassan Whiteside. That was the wrong player. But what they were doing was the right mindset. Dwayne, you're not worth that money no more. We're going to go after a better player. We're going to try and get Kevin Durant. That was a good idea. And now they're just scared to be the people they used to be. And that's when you have to start firing people.
I've been posed the question: at what point does Pat Riley be evaluated for being bad at his job?
He doesn't run the team anymore. He's just a face. Like Jess was just talking about, you've seen his face. Like, his face don't matter no more. He's just a figurehead. He's just an ideal. He's just a concept. Like, this team is run by Mickey
I don't believe that.
and Spo to some extent. Like, what moves it? You know how Pat Riley wants to run a team. You know he wants to win championships. Why would the only move he's done in 3 years be Terry Rozier when DeJounte Murray's sitting right there? And it would only cost you maybe an extra pick.
Because he's being handcuffed. He's being handcuffed to a certain extent. That would be the argument of some people. He's been handcuffed by Mickey, but like it felt like at one point in time this organization was run by one voice. It was going in one direction. Now it feels like a lot of different factors are playing in, and it's the reason why we got this big ass mess. So you got differences in opinions of who should be what players should be on the team. How much we should spend on the team is now a matter for Mickey Arison. So that money thing comes into play. Like, that shit's starting to build up, and it's starting to just all be exposed on the court. They used to mask it on the court with, like, playing tough and rough and all that shit. But now it's just coming unraveled, and you're starting to see it play out on the court.
You know what it is?
So
too?
I was watching the OG podcast, right, with Udonis and Mike Miller. And then they had the Knuckleheads featured, which is Quentin Richardson and Darius Miles. And then they were talking about what's the difference between today's NBA and back then. He said back then the owners, they were cheap as fuck. So like Darius Miles and Quentin Richardson, they played for the Clippers back in the early 2000s. And then he was saying, what's the nigga who the racist Philly guy and on the Clippers, their owner?
Donald Sterling.
Yeah,
Sterling.
Donald
Yeah.
Sterling, that
Hey,
guy.
hey,
He
Jess, what Ron Baker from YouTube say? Why Buddy talks so slow?
Cause I'm from New York, I could talk real fast. So I'm talking slow for y'all
He's
dumbass
running
niggas.
the Heat. He's running the
But
Heat offense.
yeah, I'm running the Heat offense. But look, like I was saying, with he was saying essentially that the older guys, the older owners, they didn't want to pay niggas. Like the Clippers, they literally never gave a rookie an extension besides Blake Griffin from 2000 all the way to like 2015. And then they were saying the same thing. A lot of the older owners, that's how they move and that's how they act. And when you look at Miami, it's been the same ownership since the fucking 90s. And essentially, right now, it's a win for them. They're winning. There's no way if you say, hey, if they gave themselves a talent evaluation or evaluation on how shit is going, they're winning. If they had other GMs rank how Miami's doing their shit, Miami will rank in the top five. Why? Because they constantly save money but are constantly competitive. Are they winning? Are they like? And then when it comes to teams like Warriors, oh shit, yeah, they won a whole bunch, but shit, they spend a lot of money. Other owners don't want that. They don't look at that shit like, yeah, that's what I want to do. But they look at Miami like, yeah, that ideally that's the team. If we could get one, perfect. But let's keep our name in the hunt. But what's happening now is that we're slowly getting out of the hunt. We are slowly um just like getting out of there. And me personally, I don't know about y'all niggas. Shout out to Boston. Shout out to the Bucks. Shout out to the Knicks and the 76ers. As a Heat fan, I still don't fear these niggas. They gonna have to show me in April. They gonna have to show me in May. Yeah, I know we in a little downward spiral right now, with a little downward slide, but I get it's a part of the season and they just need to fix up a couple of things. But I'm gonna believe it when the season is over and we got swept by the Bucks or some shit. That's when I'm gonna be like, all right. That's when Miami's gonna say, all right, let's blow this up. But even when they do blow it up, fully expect Jimmy and Bam to be there, and then they're gonna try again with a different set of guys, hopefully a different song.
Dolphin, bro, what you was about to say?
And clearly age, like for God's sake, man, like there has never been, to my knowledge, an NBA player whose characteristics was slashing and getting to the basket. There has never been a player like that outside of LeBron, who's one of one. They don't age well. They never fucking do. That's why you see a guy like Durant, like the reason why he can age well, the reason why even Curry, who's like is looking on and off, he's a shooter. Like it's just he's one of a kind. Like those guys do not age properly. Like they fall off a fucking cliff. And I think Barry Jackson said it. The concept of know they've earned the right to finish this out. Have they? I mean, really, if we're being honest, why? I mean, the big three earned the right to finish it out because they showed you they could win at chip. Like, what the fuck have they shown me? They've shown me that they could get close and then no cigar at the end of the day. And at the same time, like the whole thing about trades, like they're just making the worst decisions when it comes to they're doing everything counter to how you should do shit when it comes to stocks and shit like that. They're buying fucking high and selling super low. Like shit like with D Mitch or something like that. These are decisions that you should have done if it was on the table 2 years ago. You can't now look Cleveland dead in the face and be like, hey, here's a couple more years of Tyler Hero to show you he looks kind of like finished product. And you're like, why? D Mitch is ascending. Like Tyler seems to be plateauing. Like, why should I trade for this type of guy? And even the Celtics, I think to Jess's point, I get the understanding, right? Like the whole fear concept of it. Like, I don't really fear these people. I give credit to the Celtics, which feels fucking gross to say, because they had just as much of a right and a justification to finish out that build themselves. But they're like, nah, we don't have it. And we're super loyal to Marcus Smart, this, that, and the third. Fuck it. We can improve with a Drew Holiday. Let's get us a Porzingis. And they had even more of a right, if not, to finish out that build, considering that build was younger, with a relatively younger core by comparison to what we.
No, gang. How you doing today?
Chilling, just touched down. I mean, I'm vibing. I agree with what Dolphin said. Like this group, in my opinion, doesn't deserve the right to like play it out. One, like you could say Tyler Hero. It's like bro hasn't even been there like for the last two runs. So it's like, what is that? Like why does he deserve to stay? You could say Duncan Robinson, like, bro, for like a year and a half, 2 years almost, like you couldn't even play basketball. Like, why does he deserve to stay? Like, why does he deserve to see this through with this group? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really get that, but they gonna let it rock, bro. And it's kind of crazy. And people like, I'm so far off of the like, yeah, I put the tweet on the basement Twitter about, you know, Cleveland calls, would you take this, yes or no? You still got people saying no, like, which I just find just to be funny, like, as if like the NBA don't see what's going on as well. And like we having discussions about Jit, and it's like people are like, oh, they're not just gonna move him for spare parts and this and that. It's like, but they'll move him in the summer. It's like, what do you think you're gonna get in the summer? Like, you're not getting someone like very good for him. Like, you're not getting an all-star like a Donovan Mitchell level player without giving up Jaime Jaquez. Like, I think we are more than past that like threshold. Like, Tyler Hero is not getting us a star back, like, at all. Because one, I don't know any stars that would force their way out, and two, I don't think anybody is that would like on the end of their contract where if they say, "Oh, I want to go to Miami," then they will send them there. So
Dale, we're literally in the same place that we were a couple of years ago when we were talking about attaching people to Duncan Robinson's contract just to make the
right,
numbers match. Like
right, bro.
Tyler Hero is a salary matching thing. Jaime Jaquez would be the prize in a Donovan Mitchell deal,
Right,
not
bro.
Tyler.
And that's what I'm saying, bro. It's like you might as well just move him for spare parts now. Like, why not? Like, what are you waiting for? Like, that's what you're gonna end up getting, or they just gonna end up keeping him, and that's when there's all the attention would turn to Jimmy like being moved, because I do think he's at a point where he like kind of done with it, even though a lot of it falls on him. But like, I don't see. Like, you might as well just get him off, bro. Like, get him out of here. Like, Jeff's been saying this shit for a while. Like, the Levine thing, bro. Like, I don't care, bro. Like, I'm there. Like, why the fuck not? That shit will at least bring energy. It will like make it will make the game more exciting, possibly because it's something new and there's more athleticism, more quickness on the team. Like, yeah, he can't defend. Terry can't defend, but bro, like, who gives a fuck at this point? Like, cause this build and this core, quote unquote, and Duncan too, bro. Like, I don't know what my order. Well, I'm lying. The order is definitely Tyler, Caleb, and Duncan. Like, all three of them gotta go, bro. Like, that shit's just ass out there.
Counselor, are you talking?
Yeah, I just making sure he was done.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I fully agree. Because listen, also a point I think you made, Dale and Royal. Listen, the fan base honestly has turned into a bunch of losers, bro. I will make jokes about it, like, ah ha ha, I'm the Tyler Harris support. If he needs to go, bro, send him. One of my biggest problems is people like, man, Duncan's so important. I'm like, bro, if you cannot play effectively without being a starter, and you're Duncan Robinson, when Tyler goes, you need to go too. Hey, make the trade package better. Because let me tell you, if we're getting someone better than you, you don't have a spot on this roster. If Zach LaVine comes in here, you can't play off the bench anymore? You got to go. Caleb has to go. If D Mitch is on the table, anything but Bam needs to go. When people are sitting there like, but let's switch out Jaime for Jovic. None of the people we're trading are making the Hall of Fame. At least trade for the dude who has the potential to make the Hall of Fame and worry about the rest of them later. If Jaime and Tyler turn into the next Harden and KD, oh, well, you got us for the first time in NBA history that has happened in a trade. But look at all the trades in NBA history. It don't happen. Like the closest thing was like what years ago with Paul George and Vic. Like they got an All-Star back. It's like you trade for the better talent. That's what you do if you want to win. But it's like the fan base has been brainwashed by the front office to believe like
traded Paul George for SGA.
Yeah, the Clippers right now is looking good for the Clippers. But sometimes you got to lose. Sometimes you got to lose to win, or at least try to win. And it's like this fan base and this team don't even want to try to win anymore. They're fine with being the nice losers. They're fine with being the mid 2010 Atlanta Hawks. They're fine being the Toronto Raptors as long as they get close enough.
And you know it's funny though, like this nigga Jess was like the biggest fucking Jaime Jaquez fan, bro. And he was also the first nigga to say like, oh well, if you got to put him next to Tyler to get Donovan Mitchell, then so be it. That's how I know I ain't tripping. But then I see all these people talk about some, oh, not Jaime. And he said that shit before he even seen him play. So I respect his opinion on it. Like way more than people who saying, oh, Jaime can't go now that they done seen him play like 35 games. Like, nah, bro. I'm not listening to it from you.
That's why I listen to Jess when he says something that I disagree with.
Right, bro.
Because when he said it, bro, like it's like, bro, you are tripping. But then it's like, the man ain't just spouting bullshit because when it's time to pack somebody up, brother, he ready. Like he wants what's best for the team. He's just telling you what he thinks is best for the team.
And that shit is leaning into, and I'll let you go, Vince. It's leaning into fucking Jaime Jaquez too now, bro. It's like, yeah, bro, Jit is cool. He's a good player, bro. But like, do y'all like? It's like take him out and put Caleb Martin. I'm like, bro, you think the NBA? You think Cleveland? If they calling you, you think they asking for Caleb Martin? Like, you can't negotiate when it comes to trying to get a superstar, bro. Like, in most situations, you really can't, bro. Like, if you're the team trying to get the superstar or this, that, there's no negotiation in that, bro. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's the price. What you like we said last night, bro. What you get back is falling rapidly for these players, bro. Like, and Tyler Hero is on Front Street with that. Like, he's no longer headlining no packages, bro. Like, at all.
Yeah, that was the funniest thing to me about Twitter was when people were saying all this untouchable stuff. I thought it was just a joke. Like I don't know. I dead ass thought it was just like this big meme. Because I mean, first they were saying about Bam, it's like whatever, but then they started saying about Tyler. And I'm like, oh, that's cute. And then they were saying about like Duncan. There was that a report that came out that Duncan Robinson was made untouchable, and I'm just like, all right, I think we've lost the plot here because there's no way a guy who's coming off the bench who we didn't even start play or didn't even play last year and the year before is now all of a sudden an untouchable player because he was hot for 1 month. Like it's just crazy how these people they value any little signs of decent basketball play to the point where now all of a sudden they're a heat lifer, they're untouchable. We gotta give them a contract, we gotta give them an extension. Caleb Martin, we gotta resign that man. We're gonna keep him on the roster for the next 3-4 years, even though he's like a 29-year-old drafted who just barely figured it out, only underneath our coach and nobody else. Like we just completely lost the plot when it comes to like roster construction and talent evaluation at both as a fan base and maybe as an org as well too.
It's just how fast they move in that regard, Vince. Where it's like Jaime Jaquez has literally played one half of one NBA season, and people are talking about he's untouchable. We've
Well,
never seen this man in the playoffs, and they're
it's
And
talking
it's not
about
even a half because he's
bro.
been missing the last 2-3 weeks. Like
He
he hasn't even
hasn't
played
made
half.
it to an All-Star break in the NBA, and people on Twitter are talking about he's untouchable.
Royal,
With
didn't I?
Caleb Martin, huh? What's up?
No, I'm sorry. No, go ahead. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you good, bro. You're fine.
Didn't I tell you really early on in one of these spaces a few months back that with the emergence of Jaime, I'm gonna really hate when I have to hate Jaime because he's going to be the reason we miss out on superstar X. And to Dale's point, like again, head packages for superstars, like if you're gonna get a superstar player and you're gonna have to lose something on the Heat, like the headliner is no longer Tyler. Like it would have to be Jaime. And I forget, like I had a conversation with like one of those NBA writers on Twitter, and I at the time I was like, maybe not. He's like, no, dude, like I'm trying to tell you, like if you were gonna ever get a package for a star player, Jaime would be the headliner. It's no longer Tyler, and I'm seeing it now. And again, it's to the point of these are moves that should have been done long ago. Like some Heat fans think the NBA, like other NBA front offices, don't also watch other games. Like they don't have NBA League Pass too. It's like you can't sell me this lemon. This is not a surprise to me. I watched Tyler play. Trust me. Don't try and like pull the wool over my eyes. And definitely don't try that shit with Caleb Martin. Like you act like I don't have access to the guy's fucking medical history too. Like I don't know that he also has knee tendinosis. Like you think I'm stupid or something?
This is like sometimes when we do these evaluations, people are only evaluating talent, but like you have to factor in these contracts when you do stuff like that. Jaime became a more valuable asset when people saw that he was good and he was on a rookie scale deal that is cost control for the next 6 years. Tyler Hero is on an extension. He makes $27 million. That is something that they have to factor in.
But hey, Royal, it wouldn't be that bad if we knew the Heat weren't. And this is when I talk when people say call them cheap. It's not even just cheap from like a book. It's a cheap mindset. So if you're looking at it like a real GM should, it should be, well, Tyler's making this money now, but we also have Jaime, so we can make contracts work somewhere and provide them value. But instead, they're like, no, we want to rip you off with Tyler as the only piece, and we get everything back, and then we also have Jaime here, and we're also not going to give up Duncan in that trade, and maybe we'll throw in Caleb. It's like, of course, no one wants that package. It's like you're basically offering a team Cam Johnson. Like to get Kevin Durant, it wasn't like we'll start it. Well, hey, Cam Johnson, and then maybe you can get like our backup center. No, it was Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges. Like we're just going to give you
And every
two of our
single
best
pick.
things. Yeah, and every single.
Pick.
But the Heat are like even the Donovan Mitchell thing. By what their story is, they're like, we'll take Hero for D Mitch with a few other for like and salary filler. Just throw us 3 picks, and they were like, no. So at some point, you just don't want to use your contracts ever. You just want to rip everybody off. Like I said last year, sometimes you have to lose. Last year I was saying, hey, go get Jaden Ivey, go get Bogdan. Jaden Ivey and Kate Cunningham can't play together. Go ask the team what you willing to do for that. Everybody said, no. I'm like, well, now you want that trade. And then now it's, oh, Jaime is untouchable. Why is Jaime untouchable? At what point did he be? He's good, which means he should be moved if you can get an upgrade if you want to win. If you just want to lose and tank it out, then you still should move off these pieces and go get a first-round pick because they're just moving in 6 play-in land, and it's really tiring at this point.
I think the thing that's most egregious about what the front office does with their propaganda is retroactively after the trade negotiations are breaking down, they like to say, "Oh, we had the possibility of offering all of them, but they didn't really want to do any further negotiations because you never actually offered that. You were never serious when it came to Donovan
Yeah,
Mitchell. They said, "Oh, we're gonna offer all these players, but we really didn't want to give away Max Strus. It's like that's not a real breaking point. Max freaking Strus, are you dead ass? No, you offered Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, and 2 firsts. You didn't get to 3 firsts, and you didn't offer anything else. That's the real deal.
Yo,
Same with Portland.
I also want y'all to take into an account. In my opinion, we only really missed out on one player, and that's Damian Leonard. Because when I look at all these other deals, from the Kyrie Irvings to the Kevin Durant's and whatnot, I'll be looking at those deals and I'm like, yo, Miami wasn't gonna beat this. Miami wasn't gonna beat this in terms of not only what we were willing to give, and plus what the other team was willing to take on. So like that's also how I look at like Kevin Durant, bro. They offered Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, 3 first-round picks, 4 swap. Like Miami was not beating that deal. First of all, we didn't have enough deals, enough picks, and then we didn't have enough swaps.
You
Kyrie
can beat them to
Irving,
the punch though. You can just offer if that offer never gets to them because you offered a different offer first and they liked it, then your offer was the best offer. You
okay, then
allowed them to make that offer because you didn't do anything. Like
that's
it's with
where
the
Hey,
Damian
hey,
Lillard.
Jess.
You allowed that offer to be put on the table for the Bucks because you didn't make an offer.
I agree. We dropped the ball with the Dame shit for sure, but in terms of like the Durant shit, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not on that. I don't really never really care for KD because I just never thought they had any enough to get him in the first place. Like when he listed,
Yeah.
the Suns in Miami as his 2 teams. Like I was like, okay, the Suns, that makes the most sense. They got 2 to 3 young players, and they got picks that they can move. But my thing is like, yeah, they missed on Dame because that's who they actually wanted. But I just don't respect the ultimate switch up when they push the same like goals. Like they say that they're still trying to win championships, this that, but like Pat Riley said, "Oh, show me the well and I'll go get them." It's like, bro, they were there. Like guys asked for trades and y'all just chose not to get them for whatever reason. Like the Harden twice, Kyrie, like bro, like Bradley Beal because of a trade,
No
uh,
trade clause.
no trade clause. Yeah, bro, it's like that's where I have issues. Oh, Donovan Mitchell, like yeah, he didn't axe out, but like it was obvious between the NBA circles that he was on the trading block. Like, and they just sat there like and was just like, nah, like bro, like you gave up the same thing you would have gave up for Kyrie for Terry Rozier, bro. Like if you're all about winning, if you're talking about winning, trying to win a championship, bro, like you're not trying to win a championship by like ignoring a Kyrie Irving, bro, and saying no to Bradley Beal because he has a no trade clause. Like,
We've discussed the stuff. They want to win their way. My dog CS done jumped on stage. CS, how are you doing today? Go ahead and come.
Oh, what's up, y'all? I just had a question. I was wondering, like, I know Jess brought up the Kevin Durant thing. Like, at the time, how many picks did Miami had available to trade?
I
They could
believe,
have freed up 3.
yeah,
Yeah.
3.
It's
Same
2,
thing.
but we could
I,
trade for 3.
this is my thing. Like, I think they still could have got KD. I just think they would have had to split up Bam and Jimmy. So, like, my question is, like, because I think they could have beat the Nets trade, in my opinion, especially because they would have had to take back Ben Simmons or ship him to another team, or they could have just took him back, but to make the money work. But I think they could have beat that deal. It's just they decided that they didn't want to trade Bam. So my thing is, would you have traded Bam plus found a way to get those 3 picks? Because I think that deal beats what they got from the Suns, in my opinion.
I would have, to be completely frank. I mean,
Yeah.
and I know, again, I am very cognizantly aware of how talented Bam is. Like, I am very fucking aware of that. But if the whole purpose for why we do all this shit, for why the Heat do all this shit, is championships is a cutthroat mentality. If you put Bam on the like, obviously I would not have done it. Like, I know Cronin was like, all right, I'm gonna need Bam for Dame. I'll be like, fuck off. But like for Kevin Durant, it's like, in the grand scheme of things, like if I give you a 4-year window and you might win a championship in that 1 year window compared to 10 years and then you never win a championship. It's like, fuck it, we accomplished what we meant to accomplish here. Did it hurt? Yeah, but sometimes these trades, it's going to be a lot of pain involved. So
Also, how the
Yeah.
league views Bam is different from how Miami views Bam. What we've all been indicating is been shown is that the league sees Bam as like kind of above Mikal Bridges tier. Like they don't respect Bam like how the Heat fans view Bam. Bam is not seen as like this untouchable thing around the league. He's seen as a really nice piece. But
Nah. I think
Nah,
to be
I
real,
disagree with that.
I think the league holds Bam in like high regard, bro. I
High
think
regard. I do too.
I think
Right.
the league would say he's a top 20 player, bro. Like I don't think
I'm talking about in trades. I'm like because I don't think I think when you're trading for someone who's mostly defense, I don't think the league views that as high.
Right.
Like a lot of teams view that as
What you
highly as
need
the
to
Heat do.
understand is
Well,
that
according,
if we added Bam to any trade discussion period for any player,
teams will come around.
top
he'd be done
Anybody.
immediately.
it's any team is gonna
outside
consider
of
it.
Jokic or Giannis, like I think you can get him. You could trade him and get anybody outside of Giannis or Jokic or
Yeah,
like a Luka.
if they come available, I'm talking about like teams when they come. Like if Dame says he wants to go
Giannis
somewhere, and you
was
have
technically
Bam.
available.
He's going to be a good piece. I'm talking about like if a team wants to trade for Bam, what they're willing to give up would be different.
I think. I'll put it this way. I think if OKC wanted to trade for Bam right now, I think they would give Miami 3 picks.
I think they'll give him 4.
Would they give them?
Because I just watched Pascal Siakam go for
would they give them?
a
Would they
similar
give them
deal.
Chet? Would they give them Chet Holmgren?
They would give him Jalen and 3 picks.
I don't think they'd give him Chet Holmgren. They would give him, Jalen 3
Jalen.
picks.
I think he's worth the draft. He's a draft capital. That's all I'm saying.
You
Thank
think
you.
what now?
You talking about player for
I
player?
missed that whole thing. What you said, CS?
Repeat that last part, CS.
Oh, I think he can net you a lot of draft capital. Now, I think if we're talking player to player, yeah, it varies. Like, is somebody going to trade a point guard for Bam? I don't think so. You see what I'm
that's
saying?
why I said
Like, 'cause
Mikal. That's why I said
two different
Mikal.
spectrums of the game.
Because I think Mikal seems like
But I think
a really solid glue
but
guy.
Mikal
You can
went
get
for
3
KD.
picks from
That's
him.
what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said he's
but I'm
viewed
saying,
as Mikal.
Are you in the blender again?
part of my fear, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Part of my fear, and this just goes back to everything Pat says to a lesser extent, is probably for a reason. Like in the very beginning of the season, where he was like, "We got to do what we can with Tyler and Bam to really help Jimmy." Like it really seems like to me, from an outsider's perspective, he holds Jimmy in this fucking high regard, this high esteem. And I truly do believe, and maybe this is me being like very worst case scenario here, I would not be shocked. And when you include when he said, like, you wonder if these things eventually, like these things just run their course. I think maybe there's still a bit of that past basketball knowledge in Pat's brain where he's like, keep it a buck. I really don't think Tyler is going to move me the needle anyway. Like, I would not be surprised if he like suicide bombed this shit and he tried to go for like Embiid and it's like, look, I'm just going to win it with like the 2 years I have left with Jimmy and try and make something happen. Like, I wouldn't be shocked.
Fucking suck. Like I just don't. I don't see an avenue for like. I don't see a realistic avenue for this team to kind of put themselves in a better position to contend. Like, and it's because of all the things that we're talking about. Like, dog, there's an emotional component to the way that they're running this organization now that's not based in the way that the league is like moving. You can't just kind of like. I don't know, bro. Like, you can't. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. You can't run the organization the way the Miami Heat have run it. And they were closer earlier, like when they were cutthroat, than they are now. I feel like they've gotten further away from an original kind of like the original way that they used to run this organization that would be more effective now if they could pull it up. Y'all get what I'm trying to say? Like when Pat was trading niggas for anything.
They're scared to be the bad guy.
Yeah,
it's like after every Tyler scenario, like even though I like Tyler, every time he's in trade talks, the team does not have to go to him and be like, we weren't really trading you. It's like, no, just hey, keep it a buck with people. Like, yeah, we were trying to trade you, but you're still here. Like, keep it a buck with people.
I think that's
Hey,
very. I think they
Duncan,
do.
we were trying to trade you. Like, we're going to keep it a buck. But after every trade scenario, what do we hear? No, you weren't really on the table. And then they have to put out in the media, well, they won't be traded unless this comes around. It's like, bro, it's okay to be the bad guy. That's what you're best at, Pat. Being the bad guy. When we were winning, you were sliding people, all of this. You told LeBron fuck you to his face when you wanted a different coach. What happened to that, Pat Rob?
Let me tell you what happened to that Pat Riley. Ever since he told LeBron that, we haven't been able to get anybody. Like, and he realized, yo, doing shit like that, yo, it's the player empowerment era. That's what it is. And the more players you upset, the more players you get tight, the less likely they are gonna come. Like, look at Clutch Sports. We haven't had a clutch player since in 10 years, y'all. 10 fucking years. It's been 10 years. And then clutch players are like 30% of the league. And a lot of
Yeah, they
top
got all the
echelon
guards.
players. So you need to be able to do the balance and act. The difference between our organization and other organizations, they don't do the tiptoeing. And what do I mean by tiptoeing? They don't test the water. They jump in. Right? And when they jump in, they just make the trade. It is what it is. Miami, they tiptoe. Oh, are we gonna make trade? Are we not? Are we gonna make trade? Are we not? Let's see what they gonna do. Let's see if they accept. They gotta come to us. We got the left. No, nigga. That's the only difference. That's the only thing he needs to really do. Pull the trigger. Pull the trigger. Like, don't be scared to make the move. Instead of, because the more you can't keep dangling these niggas in trade talks and expect them not to get mad, expect their agents not to get mad, and now their agents don't want any of their players going to your organization. The only agents that want Miami Heat players are the ones who have bums. Like, if you're an agent of a nigga who's a undrafted guy, yeah, Miami. But if you have a star, you're spot eye in Miami. And that's the reality.
How are you today? And you can go ahead and jump in on the topics that you've been listening or whatever you want to talk about. I'm looking at Dame Lillard highlights.
Man, we out here just trying to survive, bro. I already knew it was gonna be a tough season, but now I'm seeing a lot of these Jimmy trades coming through. It's getting my mind thinking. You know, LeBron was with us for 4 seasons. He got a ring. Wade was with us for a pretty long time, but he got a ring in his first four years. But we hold Jimmy Butler in the same. Some people hold Jimmy Butler in that regard, but he ain't got no ring. This is fifth season. I think at this off season, it's over with. It's time because somebody made a point. They said we look like the Atlanta Hawks of the 2000s, like the 2010s, and that's something I've been saying for the longest. Like a really competitive team. You don't want to see like the big three knocked them boys off like it was nothing, but you didn't kind of want to see that team in the playoffs because they'll give you a little run for your money. But you knew you was gonna beat them, and that's what I'm starting to feel like. Like we're like the subpar B plus team that overachieves and we get fooled by it every fucking year. And throughout the season, we get reminded that we are not a championship competitive team. And if we don't make no trades, that's just what we're gonna be, competitive.
Jimmy is ISO Joe or is he Josh Smith?
Get a bucket.
Tell you.
But
What?
listen,
Has there ever been like a star comparable to what Jimmy Butler is right now?
yeah, Joe Johnson with a little bit more success. That's what Jimmy Butler is.
That's
But on
funny.
a serious thing, like everybody can like I'll admit like that Jimmy Butler shit, like I was wrapped up in it. I was like, hey man, I may like him more than LeBron. And then after a few you're like, no, this nigga really just a loser, bro. He's kind of a loser. Like
Y'all
it's
niggas
it's it's
tripping.
fun when he's no, it's fun when you're winning. Like when you're winning, a lot of that stuff is cute, bro. It's funny to like not like care. Like I don't care about like any of this stuff. It's funny. But hey, if you're not putting up the stats, it get really, really annoying real fast. And when other
Yo,
people aren't talking like when what was the quote last night? Hey man, just Godspeed. It will pass by too. It's like this is our leader, everybody. Just kind of like, hey man, It is what it is. I'm gonna play Monday. Like, come on, bro.
So, like, when it comes to, I don't know about y'all. Same thing for Tyler. Same thing for Jim. Most of the team per se. My judgment is gonna come from the fucking at the end of the season, like at the playoffs, if we even make it there. That's where my judgment is going. Are we gonna get swept? Are we gonna fight? Because coming into the season, my nigga, Miami's right on track. We 24-20. I wasn't expecting 30-10. I wasn't expecting anything bombastic or crazy. Nah, like we're right on par to what I thought we was gonna do and what we are. Jimmy's doing exactly what I thought he was gonna do, coast through the regular season. Like I'm not, and please don't take this as I'm making an excuse for the nigga. I just, you know, have accepted reality of this is what they are. Now in the playoffs, niggas like Jimmy, if he goes out like he did against the Bucks a couple years ago, then it's dead. If Tyler Hero is a fucking, that's when y'all gonna hear me talk. That's when I'm gonna be on that bashing Jimmy's or whatever the case may be. But in terms of the regular season and what's going on, this is exactly what I expected. You're gonna have your ups and your
So
downs. We're 24-20. Like we struggle to beat good teams. We struggle to beat bad teams. We beat good teams. We beat bad teams. We could beat anybody. We could lose to anybody. And if you ask me so far, I'm happy that the Heat made a move. Remember what I told y'all? Y'all asked me, yo, what do I want? Yo, do anything at this point, and they did something. Now I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna set my team and see how the shit play out.
That
And
is
What's
once
what's
again,
Jess? What's the goal?
they
hey,
are
no,
walking
wait,
to a
wait.
they're walking
Just
to
I
a
hold
Super
on.
Bowl.
really
Just wait. Because what Jess is saying is really, really interesting to me. Because the Heat right now have the exact same record that they had at this time last year. What team are you happier? Like, what team makes feels better to you? What you watched last year, or like what he talking about? What you watching this year? They have made a trade, like they didn't do that last year. They are in the same spot. Like, which one of them do you feel? And don't give me the cop out. Neither one of them, they all suck. But like, answer the question: which one of these versions of the
last
team do you prefer?
last year.
you
Because
talking to
How the
me or
fuck?
everybody?
no, because
I know what you prefer. You answered it. I'm asking everybody else.
here's the difference. Right? Last year they were losing. It was frustrating because they were losing close games. But it was like they were losing, but they were competing. They were trying, but it's just like it just wasn't happening. This year feels like they walk into their death. It feels like they're slowly going to the end goal, and it feels like the season. What was it, 2021 when we lost to the
Yeah.
Bucks? That's how the ceiling. It feels like we felt it that season. We're like, oh, we know how this is going to end. We were trying to fake it like, now if the Bucks see us in the first round, we can handle them. But we all knew like this feels like an embarrassment waiting to happen, and that's how this
Sure,
team
but
feels. Like it feels like an embarrassment
no,
way.
That's
brother.
how I felt
Last year,
last year.
I felt like that
That's
last
how I
year. I
felt
felt
last
like
year.
last year there was no hope. Hey, real quick, we got a dono coming in from the YouTube channel. My boy Check the Gamer gave us $4.99. Appreciate you, gang. He said Tyler is Josh Smith. We should yell no when he gets the ball. I do yell no when Tyler Hero gets the ball or when he goes up to shoot it. But yeah, I want to ask everybody this question because I want everybody to answer it, bro. Because last year is when I felt like we shouldn't have made the playoffs because that shit was trash. Dale, which team you feel better about watching, last year or this year, bro?
They the same thing, bro. Like them niggas, bro. That product is disgusting, bro. Like there's no bink bink and zoom
But
into the rim, bro. Like
but I'm just saying though, like at least this year we got a trade. Like I feel like last year was just like that shit felt like death every game.
I'm gonna be real. That's how I feel now, bro. Cause there's more time attached to it. Like I don't think niggas want to be there, bro. Like, if it's not that, I know for sure them niggas don't want to play together, bro. Like, I don't know why you got these Damian Lillard highlights on either, but that's crazy.
Because I wanted to watch good hoop for a second.
Like, bro, like
All-star starter Damian Lillard, by the way. I want to.
talk about it. But yeah, bro, it's sad, bro. Like, Like, how do you just like, bro? It's just wild, bro. Like these niggas just like sat to the side and watch. Like, even if you don't get nobody in the all season trade, whatever, bro. Like, you didn't have to move like Kyle Lowry for Terry Rozier, bro. Like, you really didn't have to do that. If you just created, if you just like got outside yourself and said, okay, let's add someone who can do some things like a Lonnie Walker, like a Kelly Oubre, a Malik Beasley. Like they could have aggressively had like a good, decent like backup guard rotation, or if you want to start one, whatever. Like, yeah, they're not a point guard. Then you could have tried to you move Lowry for something else. Because I know I'd prefer Lonnie Walker and Malik Beasley both on the minimum over Terry Rozier. You feel me? Like you could have tried to send that to Detroit for Bogdan Bogdanovic, bro. Like it's worse now, bro, because there's more time attached to it, and it's just more and more mistakes. Like a wing rotation of Oubre, Bogdanovic, Haywood, Highsmith. That's much better than what we got right now, bro. Like, and Jaime Jaquez will still be here. Like, but them boys, it's so weird, bro. I don't know. I never seen a team so close to winning a like championship and just saying no to like talent, like upper echelon talent, like decent NBA talent, which I think like Oubre, Lonnie, and Malik Beasley, decent role player talent. Let's say that. That they could like build up to be like high level role players, like in winning systems. Here, bro, it's weird, dog. Like they just like, and then they have these news outlets like Five Reasons openly come out, like they feed them this like, I think I'm gonna put it on the Heat. I don't think they just out. I'm gonna put it on the Heat that, oh, they think that Caleb Martin would be better in the system than a Kelly Oubre. In what world? In what world? Like how is he
Well,
better?
it wasn't Caleb Martin. It was more so they wanted to give the guys who they developed an opportunity. So
Oh
guys like
yeah,
Haywood Highsmith and Jovic and Jamal Kane, they prefer
right,
to
bro.
have them
It's
on the
like,
roster than the Kelly Oubre Jr.
but like what? Like how does that make sense? Hayward Highsmith can't dribble a basketball in traffic.
And Kaywood Highsmith has never also scored 20 points per game. I think you're like dragging me a little further away from the question than I want to go right now. But like to your point though, like when I'm doing this comparison between last year and this year, I do have to factor in kind of like some of the missteps that I did witness. Because coming into this year, I did have hope that Dame could be on this roster, and he's not. So there's a level of disappointment in that. So I will like take that into consideration. I don't know, bro. Like I'm still doing it. Dolphin, let me ask you, bro. Last year versus this year, which roster or which do you prefer? Which one has been a better experience for you?
You know, I think it's like, do you prefer to be, executed like and feel the whole thing, or do you prefer to just die and not know it? But if I'm being honest with you, as weird as it sounds, I do prefer this year compared to last. And the reason why I say that is for a lot of different reasons. Last year, I was just so fucking disheartened with ugly product, and not just ugly product, but so many different opportunities to make that ugly product better. Like in the summer, with the first whispers of Durant wanting out, and then he rescinded it, then got traded in February, and that was like one like sharp knife to the chest. I was like, fuck, we could have had like one of the best scorers of all time on this team. So I was like, that fucking sucks. And then I was like, oh, cool, Donovan Mitchell's available. Now there's whispers of him leaving. That surely we can't fuck up this time. He's gone. He goes to Cleveland. And then midway through the season, it's like, well, all right, Durant just got traded. They can't keep Kyrie by himself, and we certainly need a point guard. And then he's like, I remember exactly where I was when I heard Kyrie got traded to Mavs. Like I was at LA Fitness. I was like, bro, what the fuck else? Like, I mean, it was just so disheartening, the combination of knowing that there were moves out there that could have turned them to a legitimate championship contender, and then always being kicked in the nuts every time because there was always some bullshit justification or excuse like we didn't feel Donovan was worth Tyler and 3 firsts, or oh, Durant would have meant saying goodbye to Bam, or oh, Kyle, we have made assurances to Kyle that Kyrie, like we won't trade him for Kyrie, and like the fucking rotation at point guard last year with fucking Jamari Bouye, Kyle Lowry, all kinds of bullshit, and it was just ugly hoops and ugly product to the point where if I'm being frank, and I know this is recorded, I was fucking hoping they would lose to Chicago in the play-in. I was like, fuck it, fuck them. Go in the play-in. You get some absurdly lucky opportunity, perhaps to maybe even get the first overall pick somehow.
Carson Wally.
Like I was just like, you know what? I hope they lose. I really do. And every time through each round, like when they beat Milwaukee, I was like, okay, when does eventually the Cinderella story end? Surely it's against the Knicks. Then they don't. Then it's like, well, surely it has to end against the Celtics. Then it doesn't. And it's like, okay, cool. And so my point being, and why I'm preferring this team over last, is like in some small portion of my brain, I kind of feel like, when does Superman come back? You know what I mean? It's like, I've seen you do it before. Like, do I dare believe you can do this again? Because I have proof positive you did it last year. Maybe, and I'm hoping against hope, they somehow reignite that spark again.
Brother, that spark ain't coming, gang. And
Hope.
I think they hate each other too much at this point, from a basketball perspective.
I would go.
I prefer watching this season way more than last year. I feel like we got way more to watch. You got Jaime Jaquez playing. Who knew he would be this good? You got Jovic coming in and playing. Who knew he would be this stank? Like, it's just a wonderful time this season. Cause last year I gave up in November. I seen how Kyle Lowry was playing. People was getting hurt left, right, crisscross. I said, "Oh yeah, this is not enough. We need to take for Wembanyama. That's a one in a lifetime opportunity." We didn't do it. We should have did it, but hey, we made it to the playoffs, and the rest is history. But I always wonder, like, what would have happened if we didn't make it to the playoffs? Like, what would have happened if we actually lost to Chicago? Would they have traded somebody else? What y'all think?
Absolutely, Dame would absolutely be here. Like I think, and I say this, and maybe I'm fucking wrong. Maybe they were arrogantly just. I really do feel like if they had gotten embarrassed against Chicago, they would have been far more respectful of Joe Cronin's time and not sending a bullshit offer and trolling him and having Levitard in the media saying, "What the fuck else you got? What are you going to?" Basically calling the guy pussy like on live TV. And if I remember correctly, like no joke, the minute he put like the little mouthpiece trolling segment, he got traded later that afternoon. I really do believe in my heart of hearts, like if they had lost to Chicago, like the team would look radically different because there would be no justification to be like, give this team another chance because there would have been no miracle finals run. It would have just ended with an embarrassment to Chicago where you really have to look yourself in the mirror and have the conversation we're having this year. And you would have had to have this honest conversation last year.
We did have this honest conversation last year. People just were not listening to us, Dolphin. Vince, I would like to hear which team you prefer, like the one from last year or this year.
Man, it's the same thing. I mean, faces are slightly different, but overall, it's the same damn thing. Same team. We just know they're not going to be able to win.
Answer the question.
Oh, I guess this year. There's a little bit different. No, last year. Because I figured if they flamed out before they went to if they flamed out in play-in or in the first round, the changes would have had to have come. So when we didn't and we made that finals run, I had seen this book story already done. They weren't going to really make serious moves. And they didn't. So even though it's cute to see Jaime play, we're just not doing anything. And then look at this. The trade we decided to make is switch out Kyle Lowry for Terry Rozier. Like, we traded a pick for that, man. We really traded a pick for that. Just for Terry Rozier to be told to play like Gabe Vincent without any defense. This shit is nasty, man.
And what's crazy about that too? It's fucked up because, and I really am hoping the best for Terry. I hope he looks as good as fucking advertised. But like when I look at it, not in the micro, but look at it from the macro, where it's like all these thoughts and hopes of a Damian Lillard, of a Kyrie Irving, of a Donovan Mitchell. If you had fucking told me back in July when this whole Lillard thing was happening at its apex, and you told me, by the way, your starting point guard is Terry Rozier, I'd have been like, something went terribly fucking wrong. But now I have to sit there and be like, oh, thank you guys so much. You gave me Terry Rozier. I hope he does well, but like, I'm not losing the forest for the trees. Terry Rozier is still Terry Rozier.
And I think that's the craziest thing. Every deep playoff run was a long-term bad thing for the team because they never were going to make the moves to actually improve the team for real. Like when we were 30 and when we went on that 30 for 17 run, but we still 30 for 11 run, but we still missed the playoffs. They were still like seriously making moves to like at least get a Jimmy Butler. If we miss the playoffs, or if we don't make the playoff run that we did, like if the bubble didn't happen, maybe, just maybe, we actually do get James Harden. If we don't make the Eastern Conference final run and we just barely miss and they don't have the excuse to say Tyler Hero didn't play, maybe, just maybe, we do get a KD or D Mitch. We don't make the finals run last year. Maybe we do get the Damian Lillard. But every run has gave them the excuse to not make the serious move to go get the players we need to actually win.
Did we get Bam or Tyler because we missed the playoffs that year?
Which
We got
one?
Bam.
Yeah, Bam,
The
27.
11 and 30?
Got
Like
bailed
Yeah.
out
30 and
then too.
11?
They
Yeah,
got bailed out then too.
we got bailed out. Like, and what if they had made the playoffs? and like, if they made the playoffs,
But
they don't.
the thing is, that run was so bad though, bro. Because it's like,
We could have
imagine
got
if they
Tatum.
right.
Yeah, we missed it
Imagine
on
it.
Tatum.
I was watching Tatum highlight tape. I was like, oh, we're at the top of Draft Express. Who's number one pick? It said Jason Tatum. And was it Brandon Ingram too?
No, it was Markel
Markel
Fultz.
Fultz.
Yeah. And I was looking, I'm like, this dude Jason Tatum's going to be the best one. I'm like, we may lose, but we'll win in the end. And then, hey, it was fun. And then you know who we lost the tiebreaker to? The Dwayne Wade Chicago Bulls. I like
Yep.
This is just perfectly Miami. But also this season, hey, Spo, that's what's more depressing me. I'm like watching Spo, and it's like, bro, some of this is like, it's kind of being revealed that Spo is he's a bigger decision maker than I think people understand. Because it's like, sometimes it's looking like, does Spo want these Kyrie Irvings and like Damian Lillard like ball dominant point guards, or do we want someone he can tell to just like, hey, go sit in the corner and like, hey, spot up, like play like Gabe Vincent? Does he prefer Gabe Vincent's over niggas who can like really do something?
So, this is where I was. I'm starting to like tinker with that idea in my head of like how much influence does Spo have over the players that are here, and how much does that limit the talent that he gets because he wants to coach up guys and develop them to play the way he did. Probably some kind of like giving. Like if he feels like if he would have got a shot in the NBA, he would have loved to have himself as a coach because maybe he would have made it or some stupid shit like that. LJ, you're gonna go last. CS, which team do you prefer, this team or last year's team?
This feels like a loaded question because I hate both seasons, like, but for different
Correct.
reasons.
Correct.
But like, I guess I'm gonna say last year only because like they didn't double down. Like, I like Terry Rozier. He a fellow D Wade stand. Shout out to him. But like, Kyle Lowry shouldn't have been the first guy to go. Like, he should have been sent out. But they should have moved Hero. If they was gonna trade for Terry Rozier, I'd rather get Rozier with a pick or some shit. Like, Tyler Hero don't fit this team, bro. Like, I looked up their numbers today as far as like the pairings with Bam and Jimmy, Bam and Hero, Hero and Jimmy. And like, he's a negative with both of them. But if you look at Bam and Jimmy's time together, they're a major positive. Like, I get it. Bam and Jimmy had their faults. You know what I'm saying? Like, neither are like elite offensive players in my opinion, but they have elite aspects to their games. So I feel like they can still impact winning. I don't know what Hero does at an elite level, especially in this version of the NBA. Like, he's not really an elite shooter. Like, I don't even think he's a better shooter than Duncan Robinson, to be honest with you. Like, to be quite frank, I think Duncan is a more prolific shooter and has had time and like has done it for a longer period of time. Even with the slumps, he still has a higher percentage. So like, I just don't like this doubling down with hero thing. Like they talk about like Bam and Jimmy as the like franchise face and franchise future. Like I don't feel like they are. I feel like Hero is, to be honest with you. Like I feel like he gets so much leeway, even though the data shows that they're better without him, the records show they're better without him, and like you could just watch them play and they're better without him. So I guess last year would be just off the fact that like they didn't double down on this Tyler Hero shit. And in my opinion, it's gonna hurt them in the long run, like in every aspect of it. Like I think it's gonna be a big reason why Bam is gonna leave. Now that's my agenda, but I think that's a big reason because the chemistry this year between them is nasty, bro. Like Bam do not like playing with this nigga. Like I'm telling you, I saw it last year in that interview that I posted when he was talking about the pick and roll and the lobs, and he was talking about the chemistry, and Bam was saying, well, the lobs there, it just depends on if Hero wants to throw it or not. Like you Bam plays with like stars in the offseason. Like he told you he played with Terry Rozier, he plays with Donovan Mitchell, like he plays with Jason Tatum, like he hangs out and works out with these guys in the offseason. You telling me he don't realize like the gap between what Hero is as an offensive player and what the guys that he works out with? Like, he's not stupid. So it's like, I get it. Jimmy and Bam got their faults, but I feel like this double down shit, man, like, it's just fucking nasty to me. It's nasty. He is not no cornerstone piece. He's like a nice guy off the bench. And they're trying to take a square peg and put it around Hogan. I think they're gonna keep fucking themselves until it's the very end, until it's too late, in my opinion.
That's interesting, bro, about how you feel like Tyler Hero should have been the piece to go instead of Kyle Lowry. Because Stan the Man said it in the comments. He said exactly what I'm trying to tell y'all. Jimmy and Bam upset that they let Lowry go before Tyler. That's I I haven't thought about it, but it could be too. LJ, I know I said you was next, but I gotta let my dog Lenny Pena go because bro has been rocking with us for a long time. I've never gotten an opportunity to speak to him. So Lenny, first of all, welcome. Hi, how are you, bro? Appreciate you for always tapping in with the game. All right, go ahead and give your opinion on the dialogue.
I'm doing good, my brother. Thank you. Can y'all hear me? Y'all can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah.
you.
Oh, okay. Okay, my bad. Yeah, man. Well, thank you guys for accepting me being on stage, man. I'm just frustrated with the whole situation, man. But if I were to pick a season, I'd pick this year simply because I think somebody had mentioned it on the chat. Well, on here that just having Hyman in the fold, want to see what he does in the playoffs. But just it was looking very promising at 24-16, man. But then that game in Toronto, everything just went downhill from there, man. But I'd rather have this season just because of that, because of the Hyman mix, and it's just it's just frustrating to watch, man. It's very very frustrating. I'm tired of Jimmy's laziness, sick and tired of it. Um, just there's no effort whatsoever on his part. And this whole Tyler thing too, man. I don't know CS was talking about it just now, man. I don't know what the love affair is with Pat Riley, man, with this kid, man. Just trade him already. You should have traded him a couple of years ago. Should have traded him a couple of years ago, man. I mean, you need real talent, and you guys know this. You need talent to win in any sport, but especially in the NBA, man. You need talent, and they just don't have it. It's just I don't care, man. Mickey Arison, man. You got to sell some yachts. You got to sell some freaking what you call it, some cruise ships. Do what you got to do, man. Get in the bag. Stop having these short arms and deep pockets. Make moves. Forget the luxury tax. Forget the whatever apron. I don't care, kitchen apron, whatever. Get me some talent on this team. I'm just sick and tired of watching this bullshit, man. It's crazy to me.
Well, fortunately for you, bro, I think we're in the last year of having to watch this, like personally, maybe not Jimmy and Bam together. Like we're gonna have to watch that forever. But like I think in terms of what's been around them, I do believe that this is the year that they're going to actually blow it up. Or I hope. I will say I hope. I don't believe shit. I hope this is the year that they actually blow it the fuck up. Because I'm with you, bro. Like I'm tired of watching the same product over and over again with just like different substituting different pieces in and out. LJ,
Yeah. Mhm.
what's up? Oh, go ahead, Lenny. You want to say something?
Oh no, I was gonna say just one more thing, and then you see us play Boston last night, right? You see what they display. You see what other teams, contending teams, bring to the table, right? Like they're bringing filet mignons, they're bringing freaking ribeye steaks, they're bringing in 5-star meals, and we're coming to the plate with we're coming to the table with Lunchables, man. You can't, nah, man. You can't compete, and I'm sick and tired also of the undrafted story. Is nice and cute for narrative purposes, but I'm done with the whole undrafted crap, man. All right, give me one undrafted player, but you can't just have 7, 8 undrafted players and depend on them to go on another run. You signed a Doodle Drew Smith instead of signing Kane. I mean, Kane is no All Star either, but stuff like that, man. They just got to get away from that. They need to turn the table and get some real talent on the squad. But anyway, I'm mute my mic off.
All right, bro. This is cool. LJ, which team do you prefer, last year's or this year's?
On it that both of them kind of suck, but I will say this year for obvious reasons. Last year I was tired of it I'll say the second half of game 1 against Chicago. I was pretty fed up with what I was watching because it doesn't take a Nostradamus to know that the next 81 games are going to go pretty similar, and they did. Until I guess technically 82 because of the Atlanta play-in game as well. But this year, I got about 41 games in before I got pretty pissed off. Before the whole losing streak when Jaime got hurt, and it's difficult to kind of pinpoint when they will finally get rid of or at least cut their bait, so to speak. But I kind of feel like, at least in organizations like Miami touts themselves to be, failure breeds positive change. So it's going to unfortunately take a very unbecoming end to this season to get what we kind of want to get done. Because I forget who was saying, I think it was Dolphin, like, hey, what if they lose to Chicago? What if Max Strus doesn't go nuclear? Do they get Dame? Probably, yeah. I think that's a pretty safe bet that they wouldn't be twiddling their thumbs and actually gone and got Dame. But and then who knows what happens with Donovan Mitchell? But I kind of wanted, since I'm the last one to go, I guess I'll kind of shift the focus a little bit here. That the Kings made Davion Mitchell available. Does that other Mitchell out west do anything for anybody? I know he's not a difference maker, like for what the Heat need, but for a backup defensive minded point guard, I'm all right with that.
I think Kendall was on the Davion Mitchell train for a while. I'm not sure if that move still is that a direction that you still want to go, Kendall?
Davion Mitchell, absolutely not, bro. Like, stop bringing for what, you feel me? Like, so we can give up like 6 less points a game, like, even though we still ain't gonna be scoring. Like, bro, like, niggas need some offense, bro. Like, it's pretty simple, dog. Like,
But they had offense last night, though, gang, and they
no, they
defense.
didn't, bro. Like, they really didn't, bro.
No,
Like,
that's fool's gold offense for sure.
like I look at it like Boston went in there and started the game off so hot that they was like, as long
Fuck
as this
defense.
shit, as long as this shit keep going, exactly, bro. Like, why do I have to play defense? If we on fire like this until this shit stops, like, we're not gonna play any defense because the coach Joe Mazzulla is gonna allow it, and because like the Heat ain't good enough to keep scoring to like really put any pressure on us, and they not good enough to stop us. So fuck it. Like, them boys wasn't playing no defense like that. Like, I don't, in my opinion, and Davion Mitchell with Davion, like, Gabe Vincent drafted Gabe Vincent. Like, come on, man. Like, the move was Murray, bro. Like, DeJounte Murray gonna go for the low, and everybody gonna be mad, bro. Like, and then like, oh, but clutch this, clutch that. It's like, nah, bro. Like, because Atlanta got to say yes to the deal at the end of the day. So it's like, if that's probably would be a reason why we wasn't getting in. But I'm not with the little moves, bro. Like, they need to try to do something to seriously just like that trade I put out, bro. Like Duncan and Caleb and Jovic for Buddy Hield and Obi Toppin. Like, try some shit like that, bro. Like, they both on 1 year deals. Buddy can shoot the fucking ball. Obi can rebound. He can defend. Like, and he become like a little bit better 3-point shooter. Like, something like that. Like, but little like increments. Like, bro, Who made the point about why Tyler didn't go? I never thought about that, like for Rozier, but that is amazing. Like that's much better than Kyle Lowry.
Bro, he should have been the first one to go, bro. Like, they keep fighting this shit. And it's like obvious to me. Like, I'm watching the game and it's obvious. They have a nasty chemistry. And they're like, it's not like that you don't have a record of what you look like without him. That's my thing. Like, I could understand it was like, oh, he just missed one series. Bro, he missed the whole fucking run. And then your offense took off. Like, it took off without him. So it's like, what is he giving you? He's a defensive liability. He's a liability. I don't care who you put next to him. He's always going to be a liability because he's short, he doesn't have lateral quickness, and he's got short arms. So he can't really contest. Like, I don't understand. Exactly. Like, I just don't understand it. Like, I put it this way. Like, when they drafted him, I was not a fan of the pick. Now, has he exceeded my expectations? Yes, because the bar was the fucking floor. Like, I didn't expect anything from him. So, was I wrong technically when they picked him? Yes. But am I really wrong? No, because he ain't that type of guy. He's just a nice off the bench player who can come in and spark up your offense. That's why I said, like, bro, I would have just flipped him for like a Rozier and maybe hopefully get a pick out of that. And then flip Lowry for like multiple like solid role players. That way you can just fill your rotation with actual NBA players and like get rid of guys like Caleb, who you probably shouldn't even pay, to be honest with you. And if you want to trade Duncan, you can. Personally, I would keep him because at least he's an elite shooter. And I know he fits next to the guys that are supposed to be my two best players. And he thrives and they thrive with him. So at least the fit is there. That's why I keep saying, like, in the NBA, it's about your talent, it's about your synergy and your chemistry, and you got to have luck. Those three things is what's going to get you to an NBA championship. Miami don't even got talent. They don't got synergy and chemistry, and they don't got no fucking injury luck. How do you expect to win when you ain't got none of that shit? This is like logic. I'm just talking about basic logical things. And that's why I say this nigga Pat Riley is a Dwayne Wade merchant. He has never built a championship team from the ground up outside of what he did with Dwayne Wade. And then half the shit that he got was because of Dwayne Wade. Like, at some point, he got to realize, like, bro, I got to rethink what the fuck I'm doing here. Like, I got to readjust because doing the same thing over and over again, it's not working. And they just double down. I just can't watch this shit no more. I can't watch this shit no more.
You know, CS, it's like with the analogy with like D Wade and Pat Riley. Like with Pat Riley, it felt like when he drafted D Wade, like everything with him, he won the lottery, and instead of choosing the lump sum, he's chosen the fucking paying in installments, and he continues to receive the benefits of selecting Dwayne Wade. With everything we've seen, every modicum of success this team has had since 03 has come from that fucking winning that lottery and just paying getting the reception in installments time after time after time. And you're still seeing the benefits of it with, again, relative return, like guys who are fans of him, like Terry Rozier, for example. So I hear where you're coming from.
It's like
Years after he's retired.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, to CS's point about the Tyler Hero not fitting thing, it's even when he's trying to play the way that we've asked him to play. Like, he's trying to do the things like playoff ball or whatever, be a catch and shoot player and shit like that. And the shit still don't work because nobody knows how to play with him playing like that. Like they've never seen him do that, so they don't know how to play with him doing that. So I really think that's interesting that you say, like, he should have been the fulcrum to go. Like, you throw him to Charlotte and then get something back for him, and then you build off of that move as opposed to trying to Band-Aid on the gunshot wound, bro. Like, that's what that Lowry trade was. What you want to say, CS? I saw you come off mute, bro.
Bro, I don't even think defenses really respect him like that. Like, to be honest with you, like, I watch Duncan Robinson, like, they be scared shitless of him. Like, when he is on the floor, they overreact to everything he does. That's why everybody was screaming so long for him to go to the basket because it's like, bro, you got a lane right there because they're gonna jump you every time you come off that pick and roll or the handoff. So you can drive to the rim if you want to. They don't care about Tyler. Like he's a jag. He's just a guy. They don't care. So it's like, bro, like why am I trying to force this guy to be some all-star, all NBA player when the defense don't feel like he's like that? He's not producing like that. Like you can say Bam Adebayo is never gonna be a number one. It's never happening. At best, he could be a number two to like a Steph Curry, Luka Doncic type of player. But even defenses respect him enough to double him in the post for all the faults that he got. Like you telling me they don't care about Hero at all. So it's not like he's creating any advantages for anybody on the floor. So yeah, he can be this spot up player. He can come off the picks and never put the ball on the floor, but the defense don't give a fuck because he's not gonna do anything. They don't care.
I saw and to CS's point about this, I saw it proof positive. I think it was Peyton Pritchard. His ball denial on Duncan Robinson was extending out 30 feet. Like he was like, I absolutely under no circumstance will allow this guy to touch the fucking ball.
Kendall, you remember when we did a post game show and was talking about how
Do I
defenses
remember?
beat?
Oh, do I remember? We pulled our hoodies over our head, pulled the strings, and tied them because I didn't want anybody to know that I was going to say what I was about to say. I was going to give Duncan Robinson all the praise that he did not deserve at the time. Teams are terrified when he and Bam run that dribble handoff. Like, I don't know why, bro, but yeah, like CS said, bro.
The analytics show, man, he was breaking Steph Curry, Klay Thompson.
But at that
records.
time,
Not
he
at
was
that
ass.
time, bro. He was
I know.
ass. He
wasn't even playing.
And it was Boston still. They were doing it yesterday.
Yep.
It's PTSD.
They were
because
tooling
it's
ass
in the
at
scouting report.
Because when Duncan
It's
had
in
those
the
years when
scouting report. He built a 2-year resume, so
and then they
you
stopped doing
have
it.
to defend it.
No, but there was a time where I think it was before Duncan got benched. It was like we were like playing the Clippers, and they just did not care about Duncan Robinson. Like they just stopped guarding it, and that's when the imposter quote came out. He's like, I feel like an imposter, because teams legit for a while they're like, we don't care, and it worked, and like he disappeared, came back, and then they were like, we care again.
You know why? It was that game 1. I think we played Atlanta in that playoff run. Even though he got all those DNPs, we played him that game 1. And he went off for like he hit like 8 threes, had 25 points. So it put the fear of God back in the East. And they just did not want to risk the chance of him going off on them and losing a game just because of that. But I think it was only just because of that.
Yeah, but I think that's to the greater point, though. It's like if teams don't respect like the Miami Heat respect Tyler Hero way more than other teams on the court. Where it's like if they're not going to guard him or he's not instilling any type of fear, then his value is minimized as a spot-up shooter, even though that's how we believe he should play. So I think this Kyle Lowry trade is going to harm him more than it hurt him. Like, and I know he's excited for it, but I feel like this is going to hurt him because if he tries to play like this and is like he continues to get less shots, he continues to become less effective, then it's just not going to reflect. People are going to. He's getting exposed, bro.
Duncan did not even play in Game 7 against the Celtics that year.
Duncan didn't play in a lot of games. He didn't play a lot last year in the playoffs either.
He played in every game last year.
No, he played saying he was playing like 12, 13 minutes. He wasn't actually playing that much. And then like the Knicks series, I think he was playing like 11. I think he had like 90 minutes the whole series. He
played against Boston. But bro, like that man, fresh off of a re-signing, bro. Like this is how like to just put it in perspective of how like shit this shit is right now. He was fresh off a 90 mil contract, and he did not play in the biggest game of the year in the playoffs. And like you say, like 18 minutes last year. Like he was somewhat productive in him. But yeah, bro, like they gotta do something, bro. Like they're not, but
But they need a lot of trades because even to the point, your offense shouldn't be so reliant on Duncan Robinson running around and like literally hitting the peaks of shooting in all time to have an effective offense.
I believe like a temporary patch would be to, at least try to see if you could get Duncan in the starting lineup, man. Because like CS was saying, man, Tyler he doesn't stretch the floor. There's no gravity, man. Like at least with Duncan, like I was saying, man, people they're afraid to leave him alone. So at least putting him in the starting lineup, getting Tyler to the bench, fortify that second unit, man. I think that would be the way to go. But they're not gonna do it. But I mean, right now we're stuck with this team, unfortunately, unless they make a move before the trading deadline. But I think a Band-Aid right now would be to get Tyler's happy alligator arm ass to the bench, and then see what happens, man. But this shit is just sad, bro. This
I'm
is
not gonna
hard. I've been
lie.
a fan since '91, man. This shit is just. It's just. I mean, I've gone through the highs and the lows, man. But this shit is just. Come on, man. This is disgusting.
You didn't like Caleb Martin's shot selection last game?
Caleb
Bro,
Martin?
like,
Oh no, my bad. Go ahead.
I think Caleb Martin was taking shots because he was just like, well, fuck it.
Yeah,
That's
way
how
too
his
much.
shots felt. His shots just felt like, hey, whatever. And he just started going for it.
That's how the team feel. It's like,
yeah,
is there any
they
real
all do that.
repercussion for Caleb Martin taking? Like
They ran a set where Terry Rozier, he dribbled up the ball. I think Bam went and switched with Jimmy on a screen, and then Bam like just walked to set the screen. I looked at the clock. I'm like, there's 8 seconds left. And then they ran like a piss poor pick and roll. He threw it to Tyler. Tyler tried to do the hesitate thing. He threw it to Haywood, and then Haywood tried to drive, bounced it to Bam.
and literally,
24-second
And
literally,
then ran out of
someone
time.
literally tweeted about that exact possession,
like,
yeah,
bro.
that was
That's
me. I
Oh, that was
I
you?
tweeted about that exact possession.
That's what I'm like
Tyler-
looking at Spo.
Tyler
I'm
got
like,
the ball. Tyler got the ball. It was like 6 seconds left. He threw Haywood Highsmith a grenade with 3.5 seconds. Like, why the fuck are you throwing
That's-
Haywood Highsmith the ball
bro, that's what I'm
and
talking
asking him
about
to
Spo.
create anything?
I was like looking at Spo. I'm like, Spo, why is Terry he did nothing for like 20 seconds. And then there was
Bro.
one where they threw it to Jimmy on Brown and hit the turnaround. I was like, why is Terry? He has like their bench player. I can't remember his name. He's the white dude wearing number 30. I said, Terry already has that guy on him. Why are we throwing the ball to Jimmy in the post against Jaylen Brown? That doesn't even make
That's
sense.
what's so sad about this iteration of the Heat attempting to offense is we're in halfway through year 5, and their best offensive play to throw out there is still the Duncan Bam dribble handoff. That has not changed from the very first game of Jimmy Butler's time in Miami until right now in January of 2024. Where's the ingenuity? I don't know what they're trying to accomplish.
My thing is
what
this.
what
Like,
is there to engineer though? Like,
that's what I'm saying, bro. I don't think it's.
what is different about this team? Like,
Yeah,
they've only
it's
subtracted from them, bro. Like, that's my thing. Like, they've only gone backwards, and not even in a good way. Because personally, my stance has always been this team, like perception-wise, has to take a step back to actually bust through that wall to get that ring. They gotta trade Hero and bust this team down below them to actually get that guy to gather enough draft capital to go get that guy to actually be a lead guard. Because that's what they're missing. They're missing somebody who can be an offensive engine. Jimmy is okay at it. You know, when he gets in the playoffs and he turns up, yeah, they got a good offense, but it ain't enough. Especially when you meet like a monster like the Nuggets who have a 2-man game. Like, that's really how Miami lost. They lost off the back of a fucking pick and roll game. You couldn't stop that. Because all they did was either roll to the rim or he gonna pop out, and then that's just gonna leave Murray on the island to go one-on-one with somebody. Or Bam's gotta help, or then run back over there try to contest Jokic for a jump shot, and he splashed. They don't have that. And that's why you say, oh yeah, Duncan and Bam are still our best offensive. Yeah, because it's the same thing with the Kings. They do the same exact shit with Kevin Huerter and Sabonis. Except they got De'Aaron Fox, who is a lead guard who juices that offense even more. Like,
It's also the same
to me, it's
action
like,
with
this
different
is like
players.
A blind man could see what's going on.
It's just the same action with different players. It's just whatever player is going to be doing the ball handling on that play, dribble handoff, or pick and roll with Bam. Caleb Martin, and then Jimmy's in the corner doing nothing. Tyler's in the 2/3 standing there. Caleb Martin's in the corner doing nothing, and then we'll have a fourth player doing nothing. That's why I'm just looking at Spo. I'm like, bro, this offense just screams. I hate to say it, like it screams like, man, we have 2013 Braun, Wade, and Bosch. Fuck you. That's how the offense like looks to me. It's like how Frank Vogel ran his offense when they beat us in the finals. It was like we have LeBron and AD. Fuck you. That's how
Yeah.
the offense looks. The offense
So
just looks, and they don't have the talent to say fuck you anymore.
and so now, like, this is where I get down to the when we're talking about this team is just I I already accepted what the floor is gonna be, what the ceiling is gonna be in terms of, and like we could sit here and talk about moves, which y'all know I'm good for that. I could talk moves, I get on Trade Machine and go to work, but I feel like we just got Terry Rozier. On a serious note, like I want to see him get comfortable. I think Spo needs to go back in his dungeon with Chris Quinn, whatever the case may be, and just they're gonna need to change some things up. Like that's how I'm looking at it. We're not offensively, it's not looking as crispy. And it's a lot of stupid turnovers. It's just a lot of dumb things going on. But find a way to play faster and find a way to recommit yourself on the defensive end. It's like defensively, it's like we're not even truly trying. Like defense is all about pride. Like that's why guys like Hayward Highsmith is good at it because he just tries harder. So it just needs a recommitment on the defensive end and start to fine tune that offense in terms of like you said it, Jamal Murray and Jokic had a crazy 2-man game. Now, please understand when I say this, I'm not expecting Terry Rozier and Bam to do something like that, but in terms of the skill sets that they both have, find better ways to make it more productive. Find better ways to make Terry Rozier. We just got him, right? Spend the pick on him. We know what he is capable of. Now, let's all put it in a pie. Now, like I said, I want to see how the ball is gonna roll out. And the only reason y'all niggas is talking like this right now, the reason why y'all all stressed out and crying and bitching and shit, is because we in a 4 or 5 game losing streak. It's probably gonna be 7 or 8, but that's the real reason why everybody like that. But before this, if before the losing streak when we were 16 and 24, we think it was peaches and cream. It was
I,
peaches and cream for the
I
most
I
part.
I
wasn't
Like
don't
like
that.
this.
I don't think you're talking
It
No,
about
was
the people
peaches
in
and
this
cream.
room
Hold on,
because
hold
I
on,
we've
wasn't
been
like this.
talking about
hold on,
this.
hold on, hold on. It
No,
was peaches and cream, and niggas wanted a move to be made. Now,
not me. Don't
now
put me in
shit
there.
ain't peaches and cream no more, and we got a move made, and I just want to see it play out.
Brother, we had 1 month of shit being peaches and cream. That was 5 glorious weeks that Tyler Hero was not playing basketball for this organization, brother. That's the only time that I was at peace the whole time. Like,
Cook.
watching Jackie Robinson start, I loved every minute of that basketball. But, ladies and gentlemen, I want to circle back around into this space. My dog knew that on the stage. Knew we was getting this Jimmy hate off because we was trying to figure out why the rest of the Twitter world is finally starting to catch on. You heard that folks was in your bag or in other places. I just want to know, like, how do you feel knowing that? Do you feel any sense of validation from watching the rest of Heat Twitter turn on Jimmy Butler?
Absolutely not, because I don't need it. Niggas could love Jimmy from now to the end of time. I'm still gonna hate him, so I don't care what Heat Twitter and other platforms how they feel about that nigga. As a basketball fan, I know what stars and superstars and all the words and categories that niggas love to place Jimmy Butler in, franchise players. I know what the expectations of those players are and should be, and Jimmy Butler does not fit the bill. Like, I heard y'all talking about Tyler. My stance on Tyler Hero is clear. I'm not a fan of him in his current role on the Heat. He is like, if he's going to be on the Heat, he should have been a 6 man. But I'm over blaming Tyler Hero or saying like this is Tyler Hero's fault. Because you know why? This, to me, this is like Lakers fans being mad that Austin Reeves or D'Lo not giving them enough. Like, nigga, yo 1 and 2 are LeBron and AD. Like, I'm not like, why you spending hours crying about D'Lo, my nigga? Like, he is not that guy. Like, you got 2 niggas ahead of him who are supposed to be the guys. Be mad at them. If Jimmy Butler was having a better season and cared to show up to do his freaking job every game, like, I ain't never seen a nigga miss as many games as he missed and still don't even care to play in the games where he play. Like, damn, nigga, you missed 20 games. You can't play good in the other 20 that you available for? Like, this is a Jimmy Butler problem. It's not a Tyler Hero problem. If your star was a star, you wouldn't care as much about Tyler Hero. And I promise you that's what the problem with this team is. Niggas are mad at Tyler Hero to turn the attention away from Jimmy Butler. Period.
The reason why it's happening on Twitter is because people are just tired of like finger pointing at everything around. Like, at this point, I think with the team, like, people are tired of making excuses for them. And so now it feels like a larger portion of the fan base is trying to find a reason. That's why you got some people turning on Tyler, some people turning on Jimmy, to a lesser extent, some people turning on Bam. I think everybody is just
Yeah,
kind of,
Spo.
huh?
Don't forget Spo.
Don't forget,
Turning on Spo too.
yeah, you got some people who turn on Spo. I'm one of them who's starting to like
I'm
question.
starting to turn on Spoke too.
Yeah,
It's just kind of like when you're playing the Grizzlies, bro. That's when it's just the bare minimum that the depleted Grizzlies stuff ain't going your way. That's your like $55 million player just goes like, "Hey, enough of this. Everybody out the way. I'll handle this."
No,
It just
but
don't
like
happen.
but that's what
when you
that's what
when you
that's
see
what
these,
we talking about
oh
when
my
it's like
God.
a sense of pride. It's good. Like, it's a sense of pride as like a max player. Like, I ain't gonna lie, Steph Curry went out pretty sad last night. But on a general like
You
on
had
a
to say
general
that.
everyday
You had to say
basis,
that.
I'm just saying you got to measure profile picture. So it
Yeah.
reminded me. But as a general, like, you just been down bad all year with the players that you pick. But
But they scored
Joe
134. They scored
Burrow, the
134.
Giants.
So that'd
you
be
know what I'm
down
saying?
up for
But
us.
that's what I'm saying. Like, for the people like Steph Curry, like, you ain't never questioning whether or not the man coming to play the game. And I think, like, for us to be paying somebody this much money to embody our franchise, like, brother, if you play for the Miami Heat and you're the best player on the Miami Heat, at the very least, we expect you to show up. That's why fans like even Lenny. Lenny been watching the Heat longer than most of us probably. He says since 91, half of you niggas wasn't born in 91. But he been watching it longer than all of us. And every year when the Heat talk about their best player, you know what you're getting from your best player every night as a Miami Heat fan. Like, and that's going to be balls to the wall, like, who? Like, I'm
Hardest
finna play.
working. Hardest
Yeah, I'm going to
working.
work.
Best condition. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. That type of
Most
shit.
professional.
Yeah,
Where's
that's
the professionalism in Jimmy Butler deciding not to show up? Like, because that's what he's doing. Like, if Jimmy was shooting the ball 25 times, like, getting to the free throw line, he's just like, all right, bro, it just wasn't his night. Like, he couldn't buy a bucket. Cool. Like, because every player has a night like that. You know what I mean? But, like, bro, that play with Duncan Robinson where he missed you, and then
Oh my God,
you threw a
yes.
tantrum on the sideline, like you throw the ball to somebody else in the middle of the play, bro. Like, you getting paid $50 million to do this? And this was always my issue. Like they'll always say, we changed this broke nigga life, dog. Like, Heat fans always want to act like we're so indebted to Jimmy Butler because he chose to play for the Heat. Nigga, so like he ain't say, man, I love D Wade so much, man. I'm gonna come play for y'all boys for free. Y'all ain't gotta worry about pay. He is getting paid very, very handsomely to be a mediocre player outside of 20 games a season, bro. Like, since when did
And
that become
nobody
the
wanted to
standard?
give him that money.
Yeah.
Talk about it. Talk
Nobody
about it.
else wanted to
Like,
give him that money. Like, if we being real, the Sixers didn't want to pay him. If we're just being real about it,
they
didn't feel
chose
like he was
Tobias
No,
going to
they
get paid.
chose
Harris.
Tobias
That's
Harris.
that's just the reality of it. And this is my thing about Jimmy, bro. Like, my litmus test for him is Kevin Durant. And when I say that, I don't mean by like a production standpoint. I mean like by a body language and like intensity standpoint. Like, when I watch, they're the same fucking age. They both had major injuries, and you can make the argument KD has had the most major injury of all major injuries. He tore his fucking Achilles. Kobe Bryant didn't come back. It was over with for him after that. KD is playing at an elite level. He should probably be first team All NBA this year, if we're being honest. And I'm talking about he's doing it on both sides of the court. he comes out every night and has passion and intensity and drive to play basketball. Now, you can talk about his intangibles, jumping team to team, whatever. But just on the court, when I'm watching him, he cares about the game every single night, and he tries to come out and play every single night. I don't feel that way about Jimmy, and I've been saying this shit for like 3 years, bro. That goddamn calendar that they got where Bam gets increasingly good to All-Star break, and then he falls off, and then Jimmy like trash till All-Star break, and he gets better. That is not a fucking coincidence. It's because they overcompensate for the fact that the guy who's supposed to be the guy isn't the guy until it's time to go to the playoffs. So he coasts and puts extra pressure because, let's be real, the defense is trash, but it's even more trash when Bam's not there. So you're asking him to carry your defense and then go try to beat Jimmy. He ain't Jimmy. He's not going to do that. And then you're putting extra work on him on top of that. And you wonder why he breaks down every single playoffs.
Also put the additional responsibility on him to get other niggas open. So go get,
Yeah.
on top of all that, go get Tyler open every time he need to get open. Go get Duncan off open every time. Play backup point guard because we ain't gonna
Yeah.
get.
Like, it was crazy. The other night, people were getting mad at Bam for his bad shooting. It's like, bro, he's defending literally everyone on the court. He's getting 12 rebounds. He's leading the team in assists, and he's getting his 20 points. Like, something has to give if he's doing everything and nobody else is playing defense. Like, at some point, it's like we never actually built a team to help Bam. We also never have built a team to just be competent with the talent on the top end so that these players that aren't supposed to be where they are where they are right now. Jimmy's not a 1A, Bam's not a 2, unless he's got next to a Luca or an SGA or something, some type of player like that. But we put all these expectations on these players because that's our Heat culture. We to grit and grind and all this nonsense, and it just doesn't make sense. It's a bunch of bullshit.
It
I
destroys
think what it is that
players.
we spend a lot of hold on, Chauncey. I think what it is like we spend a lot of time talking about what player we can get to help Bam, what player we can get to help Jimmy. We never found like a player that's a connector between the both of them, like a player that can help them both simultaneously. And I think when we had an opportunity to get players like that, like I think Donovan Mitchell is a player that can help both, and I think DeJounte Murray is probably the other one. Every player outside of those two, we were talking about players that can help one or the other, and we never quite got that connector to help both of them at the same time. What
But
you was about to say,
what they
Chelsea?
It would have been Dame as well.
I was
it would
gonna
have been
Dame
say,
Dame
too.
too, yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, the organization does this with every player where they do this thing where they give them these unrealistic expectations that like end up being detrimental to them in the end. Like, remember that, and maybe the organization didn't say this, but when Five Reasons was doing the whole no ceilings Bam thing, it's like, yeah, that's funny, bro.
Yeah.
No, he has a ceiling. Like stop, like when you like he's the third best center in the league. It's like, okay, but two of those guys are MVP.
Spo does say that. He
Yeah,
has. I've heard Spo say that. So I think that was the Heat doing that.
yeah, and I'm saying like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he is, but like Jokic and Embiid are different levels of offensive talent. Like it's easier for them to do certain stuff. Stop putting that stuff on Bam. Like Bam wants to be like the glue guy. Like that 2019-2020 stuff he did in the bubble was him being like peak glue guy. Like Goran and Jimmy, everybody else handle the offense. I will help out a little bit, and if I need to take over, I can, and then I'll handle most of the defense. That's what he's supposed to be. But they're trying to make him like this. They really try and act like he's supposed to be Giannis. He's not. That's not supposed to be his job. He's supposed to be the glue guy, and they need to get someone who's better than Jimmy. Like Jimmy's not your superstar. None of these guys are superstars. Tyler Hero's not an all-star. He's not Bam. Bam is an all-star star. He's not a superstar. Jimmy's not a superstar. Jimmy's a solid star. Like he may make the Hall of Fame one day. Like that's who these guys are. You got to get people who are actual superstars. And we know what they look like because they come into our building and they embarrass us.
Bam could have been the connector between Jimmy and another star. What you was about to say, Dan?
That's exactly where I was gonna go, bro. I was about to say Bam was supposed to be the one who was in the middle of like Jimmy and Harden, like in like the terms of Harden being the first one to ever pop out and be available. Same thing with a Dame Donovan Mitchell. And also like I just think like they're both stars. They're not really offensive driven stars. They're more two-way stars. I feel like I don't even think Jimmy's a two-way player like that anymore, to be real. But it got to the point where I was just like, yo, like, and even now, like, I'm like, okay, bro, like, y'all want to be cheap and like penny pinch and not offer everybody and this, bro, go, like, that's why I'm on this, like, get Tyler and Duncan and them out of here, bro. Like, go get high level role players, bro. Like, that's why I've been saying Bogdanovich, bro. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, Morris and Morris, like, fuck it, bro. Or like, you gotta get in on deals somewhere and try to like come up on 2 to 3 like role players, bro. Like, cause it's like that's all you're gonna cap out at this point. Like, you're not getting a start. Like, you pump fake too many times, or just was uninterested, or think it didn't fit your way and how you saw it happening. So, bro, like, you might as well just try to make the team better now. Cause I like year 5, bro. Like, how can you wait until the summer, like, to say, okay, now we gonna like start to make shit shake? Like, Jimmy's old, bro. Like, that nigga's decaying, bro. Like, before our eyes. I don't think it's just his attitude and he can't play or play hard. Like, I just think that nigga is old, bro. Like, and he's not a two-way like star night in and night out. Like, but he paid like one.
All right. Any last words for anybody, guys? We've been doing this for about 2 hours. I'm about to.
Yeah, I mean, let me say my last words. Hey, guys, it's gonna be okay. You know, yeah, I know y'all niggas came in here to vent and get it off your chest, but
Just shut up, nigga. Like for real, shut up.
You know, I'm kind of with that new. I'm finna kick this nigga off the stage.
Like
Hold on, let
shut
me
up,
see.
nigga.
Let me
Did
find this
something good
button.
happen to this nigga? Like he's way
Oh,
too
Jess, brother,
Bro,
that's
Jess
fantasy
happy
football
as
team.
fuck
Yes, bro.
for no reason.
Get that nigga. No, I'm kicking that nigga out of there. Where
I
is
looked at the schedule today. That 10-game schedule. Oh boy.
Oh,
Let me
that
tell you,
shit's nasty.
hey,
Oh,
a
brother.
back-to-back into Milwaukee, Philly, and the Celtics.
Brother,
Oh, we are going to die. There's 10 games in 15 days, 2 back-to-backs. Oh, them niggas
Oh
done.
shit.
brother, and then that trade deadline looming, bro. Like, I feel like, just full transparency, I feel like they're gonna make a panic move, bro.
Someone's getting
That
injured, bro.
trade-
We know this.
It's gonna be real convenient when it's Tyler Hero. Lenny, won't let you get your last words, bro. Cook. Gotta go.
Them niggas not moving
LJ.
nobody.
No, they're not. LJ getting his last word. I'm going in order. LJ, go ahead, bro. Last word.
Yeah. Be sure to watch the Random Scrub Heat podcast video version that we've uploaded to the Basement YouTube. Listen to the podcast, download it, uninstall it, then re-download it again to get the numbers up. That's an algorithm trick that we like to use. Keep doing that to support your boys. And be on the lookout on Twitch. We're working on something right now. I'm finicking with some stuff right now for Twitch. So if you want to see us play a little video game action, we'll be over there on the Basement Sports Gaming on Twitch.
My man, 2 plugs. W. Get off the stage. Go ahead, Vince.
You know, the usual. They like the team, except reality. Blah blah blah. I'm really worried, man. It just might come down to the fact that years from now, Tyler Hero's going to be the last one standing on our own team, not just in trade rumors, and that's going to be a very sad sight to see. So let's hope it doesn't come to that. Let's hope they actually get rid of the man to actually do something. But there's a chance.
Thank you, Vince. Moving as always. Let's see who got next. Chaosu. Final words.
Listen, I know how this is all going to end. And I think they're going to do worse. I think they're going to stand pat because it looks like they may be stuck. So, hey, everybody, I want the Heat team to just, go look at that Caleb Martin film from last game and just, say fuck it. Say, hey, we can't fix the team with a major move, but we can tank on purpose and force their hand. Say, get that draft pick going. Do it for the host because we're going to be embarrassed in front of the host multiple times in these 10 games. So, hey, it's up. You caught us.
Appreciate you, Chelsea. CS, final words.
Tyler Hero is Max Struess. Bro, send my dog Bam to OKC, man. Like, let that nigga be successful in life, bro. Damn, he ain't gonna never win DPOY in Miami, most likely. He ain't never making the All NBA, so he ain't getting that Supermax. Send that man to OKC and let him be the piece that they need. That's all I got to say.
Hashtag free Bam. New final words.
I just want to make it clear, I'm not tripping about this season because I never thought these niggas was really gonna compete this season. So all that talk of like, oh, Heat fans are panicking. It's no panic in me. These niggas, this season is going exactly how I predicted it would. All that deepest, best team they've had in the Jimmy era. Stand on that. All you niggas that beat that drum all summer, that said that told us we didn't need to go all in on the damn trade because they like the pieces that they have in house, and they felt better about Jamal Cain's progress than they did about getting a Kelly Oubre. And the player they really wanted this summer was Drew Holiday. Stand on all of that. Don't call Jimmy out now. You niggas been on your knees for him since he got to Miami. That's y'all king. Let him keep being y'all king. Period.
I like that. Stand on that because believe you me, we're going to stand on what we say. The boy Dale. Close us out, gang.
Real niggas live forever, you know what I'm saying? Only the strong survive, and that's why you still see me in here. If this was the Royal Rumble, me and Royal would be going at it because I'm trying to go to WrestleMania. You got to leave because I ain't leaving. I want to go to WrestleMania.
Fortunately, nigga, we only get paid for as long as I'm on stage, so you got to go too. Yo, we appreciate all y'all for always tapping in with the game. By God!
You son of a bitch, Vince. You nasty son of a bitch. We read the lawsuit. We read the charges.
Look, I guess we gonna be up this bitch with this forever together. But thank y'all as always for tapping in with the boys and the ladies, of course. We'll make sure that we keep hosting some of these, so y'all keep tapping in with these spaces. If you're not already, make sure you subscribe to the Basement Sports Network on Twitter at Basement Sports N. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. Make sure you come tap in with us on Playback. That's how the people are getting on stage. We want to keep talking to y'all, so make sure y'all tap in here. Become a member so that you can get on stage too. Make sure you follow us on Twitch, new platform. Basement Sports Gaming is the Twitch handle. Make sure y'all listen to the Random Scrub Heat podcast. We try to step up our content game. That's why we starting to do a little more plugging with all these different outlets. But make sure y'all keep locked in with us because we're gonna stay locked in with y'all. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. And like LJ said, remember to be good people.